from?
Holding up a toilet. Silver toilet.
That's a good trophy, that.
Holding that up.
I want to get a picture of that.
Yeah. Someone will AI that.
Staying up trophy.
Someone will AI that and send it to us, mate.
Yeah. It's unbelievable stuff.
Yeah.
Listen, Daz, enjoy it, mate. It's up. It's over. We can all relax now. Got the World Cup coming up.
He's the only one under a rock.
Just relax.
The only one. Only one that's got any. Only one that's got anything about him. Only Spurs fan today.
talkSPORT Sports Update, powered by the Nissan van range. Scoring a winning hat-trick of performance, payload and price. Search Nissan Vans or head to your local Nissan Van Centre.
With your latest sports headlines, I'm Matt Hutchinson. Nuno Espirito Santo will stay on at West Ham and lead their fight to return to the Premier League at the very first attempt. With more on this slightly unexpected news, here's our chief football correspondent, Alex Crook.
I think actually it was the intervention of the Czech minority owner, Daniel Kretinsky, that has led us to this point. There's a lot of whispers that Kretinsky is going to buy more of those shares from the Gold family and perhaps potentially even David Sullivan himself.
West Ham say Nuno is highly motivated to get promoted next season, and Hammers fans have told talkSPORT they're relieved.
We need continuity. This is a manager whose body of work is quite good.
Look at what he's done for Wolves. Look at what he's done for Forest. He's proven.
And I say to the players, you took us down, you owe us 1 year to bring us back up.
Tottenham's owners have released a public apology to the club's fans after almost getting relegated themselves. The Lewis family say they're committed to change but won't be selling up. Kasper Schmeichel says he didn't want his career to end this way after being forced to retire with a shoulder injury. The 39-year-old Celtic keeper hasn't played since February. Palace legend Roy Hodgson has been looking ahead to their date with destiny tonight.
I think they're probably a better team than Rayo Vallecano, so maybe the odds are in their favour, but it would be an incredible feather in the cap of Crystal Palace Football Club to have a European trophy.
We'll have live commentary right here on talkSPORT. And with the transfer window opening in just 19 days, we understand Barcelona have been in touch with Newcastle about Anthony Gordon. Bayern Munich are also interested.
talkSPORT News.
A body's been found in the search for a missing 17-year-old boy in Cheshire, and experts are urging anyone on a variable energy tariff to switch ahead of a rise in the price cap. Emma has more in half an hour.
talkSPORT weather with QuickFit. You can't trust the weather right now, but you can always trust Pirelli tyres. In stock now at your local centre. Visit quickfit.com and book today.
We're expecting plenty of sunshine across the UK this afternoon, with some cloud in Scotland and northern England.
Good afternoon, you're listening to Rushden and Baker on talkSPORT. Hawksby and Jacobs for the Chinny Recon generation. What's coming up between now and 4, Charlie?
Oh yeah, my chin's itching, better get some cream for it. Hi Max, you little ray of sunshine, you. Today, Nuno is staying at West Ham. We'll get Scott Minty Minto's thoughts and we'll chat to Sam the Gilet sausage man, Matterface, who's in Leipzig commentating on the Europa Conference League final for talkSPORT, and Ben Jacobs will do some transfer stuff.
We left the wheel of football at a cliffhanger last week because some sport got in the way. Less chance of that today. We'll do some Spurs as well after the chief executive said they need a complete reset, but didn't say I should be part of the reset. And Charlie is excited about the NBA, so I'll have 10 minutes off.
Oh, go Knicks. Terry Gibson will give us some insight into Rayo Vallecano. George Elek, part of the Not the Top 20 England podcast, will join us. And Kevin Day will round it off with some Palace optimism.
Optimism or realism? Who knows? Good afternoon, everyone.
Depending how many pints he's had of beautiful German lager.
Do you think? I think he'll stay right and proper for us, Kev. Don't you think?
Never know, do you? You never know with Kev. I feel sorry for West Ham, Max.
Okay, why? What's
not West Ham. I feel sorry for West Ham fans.
Yeah.
The day they were forced out of that stadium was for me worse than the day that MK Dons came in and stole Wimbledon. Right?
Oh, well, hold on a second.
That is worse. That is worse, I think.
Is it
the
worse?
way they were forced out of that stadium, that Upton Park was so beautiful, so part of the local community. The bowling ground, a beautiful place to watch football. I imagine to play football, absolutely terrifying.
Yeah.
And the way they were forced out of there to this soulless place. Yes, it was free, not to the taxpayer, but yes, it was free to West Ham United. But utterly soulless, and that is the reason they've gone down. And now
it's not really, is it?
One of the reasons. I think it's a big reason, and I know, and I think West Ham fans have got the short end of the stick there.
I don't disagree with you, but they did get relegated occasionally when they played at Upton Park.
Yeah, but at least you'd be home. You'd have your home, wouldn't you? You'd have your soul, your heartbeat.
No. I know that, but what you said was they went down because of their stadium, but they didn't because they've gone down in Upton Park as well. And of course, Upton Park is a better place to play football and watch football than the London Stadium. But also, quite a lot of teams went and won there just over time. It was a cauldron, but quite often not really.
What football's actually about is just the way they pulled it down quickly as well, didn't they? They didn't leave it there for a bit so everyone could walk. They pulled it down quickly, got more quick, get the flats up. Don't let anyone remember it was there. All there is now is the centre circle.
What are they meant to do with it?
I know. I just think they could have gone back. They could have gone back.
Do you what? We'll just leave this here for a bit.
Knock the flats down, rebuild it. That's what I say.
Sean says there's nothing more satisfying than listening to somebody who thinks he's always right get smacked out of the park. We haven't said anything yet.
I don't think that's us.
Give us a minute. Oh, is that the last programme? Okay. Anyway.
I don't know who they're talking about there.
I do feel sorry for West Ham fans. You're right. And I had a great message from a West Ham fan who was furious. I think it was on me and Barry doing the show on Sunday before the games.
Oh, yeah.
Was furious with West Ham because he's like, I'm a West Ham fan, but we've already been relegated about 5 times this season. How dare they could give me hope all the way to the end.
Go for it again.
But I was, Paul from Burnley says, hi, lads, always enjoy the show. Surely it's sausage gilet and not gilet sausage.
That is true. It is the sausage gilet, man.
My fault.
As I read it, I thought that, but then I thought I'll just read it as written. Max has put his time into writing this intro.
Yeah, it's a pretty good script, wasn't it? Spent hours on that.
Very good script.
Happy birthday for this weekend. Hope you had a wonderful day, says Ben. 50. You were 50,
I was
Charlie?
50, yeah. I'm very sensible.
What's 50 like?
Very sensible now, Max.
Oh, yeah.
Very sensible.
Well, listen, we've got 2 hours and 50 minutes to decide that, haven't we?
50's pretty good, actually, Max. I like it because it's quite a shock to get there. And then it feels like...
you didn't think you would?
I thought I might not.
What's the average? What is the age? The average age of someone from Newton Abbot? Is it? I mean, I reckon it's over 50.
What, mentally or?
I think you. I don't think you've. It's not like you've exceeded the odds. It's not a story in Newton Abbot. Newton Abbot man makes
hits
50.
No, it feels like I'm back to naught. So it feels like you get a sort of back to naught, really, because you just
it's a reset. It's
definitely middle age now. It's the great reset, you know.
I think. I mean, we've got to be honest. 50 is beyond middle age, unless you're going to hit 100.
I might hit 100 though. You don't. You know.
Do you think so?
To be honest, having seen over 85, 90, doesn't look any fun. So I'm happy to.
Yeah.
I'll take. If Torquay can get back in the league, I'll take 75.
I'm not sure. I think you say that when you're 50, but when you're 85, you think, well, I could actually.
Yeah.
I can actually hang on for a little bit.
That's
I reckon.
Maybe for the 2-word phone in later on. We were going to do what's the best.
How
Palace.
old do you want to be
But
when
how
you
old?
die?
What are you? What are you bargaining with, and how old will you take?
That's what a bleak phone.
Quite bleak. Quite a bleak.
The bleakest possible
How
phone
old?
in.
How old do you want
could
to
ever
get
do.
to? And
what's
what would you
your
like
dream?
to see?
Because that's it, isn't it? England win the World Cup once in my lifetime. Well, I don't. Then I'm thinking, well, actually, hold off, because
Might
I
never
don't
see
want
it,
them
Max.
to.
We might never ever see it.
And I think I'm okay with that.
And if we did see it, we might go, "Oh, that is it." All right.
Well, that's it. I've had that thought. I've had that thought before the Euros finals.
Yeah.
Both of them going, actually,
yeah.
I know I want us to win, but it's not going to be as good as we think it's going to be.
It's not going to change.
Very few things
change
are.
everything,
I
is
mean,
it?
without wanting to bring the show down again.
Pre-World Cup. This is your World Cup hype. Max and me not bothered. I think
That's why I didn't get. That's why I didn't get World Cup breakfast, isn't it? It won't be what it's all. It's not what it's cracked up
Actually,
to.
you got to look
Nothing
for. You got to look for the holes in your life that football is filling.
Nothing is what it's cracked up to be. But the point.
What is what it's cracked up to be?
The point I was trying to make actually is not that nothing is what it's cracked up to be. Is that life, without turning into an Instagram reel, and I really feel like I'm about to do one. It isn't winning the World Cup. That isn't what defines how joyous our life is. It's the little things, Charlie, isn't
Very
it?
much. Well, I was surrounded by friends and loved ones and family
And little things.
on Saturday, and one little thing. And I've hit 50, and I don't think that happens. I don't know where that came from. I think that's a part of becoming 50.
Charlie, can I
shrink.
just say,
If anything, things get longer.
3 minutes ago, Charlie, you said you'd grown up, and within 3 minutes, you've made up something about the anatomy of man as they turn 50. You've lied about changes in your anatomy. What are we doing on the text today? So let's concentrate, everybody. Oh yes,
Pochettino has emailed people, Max.
Yeah. Mauricio Pochettino told players they hadn't made the squad, the US squad, by email, and then afterwards just said, "That's ridiculous. Why do they don't want a phone call from me? They're really annoyed with me. They don't want me."
I think he's got a point there.
I think he's got a point. I think you can do lots of good ways to do it.
It's very often I've had bad news, and I've thought, you just wanted to give me this bad news. You want to see my face.
Oh really?
You know? So just email me the bad news. Basically, is what I'm telling management is email me the bad news.
Email me the bad news. Here we go. Charlie Baker 4@gmail.com. Just email it. Email him the bad news. So now here it is. We're dumped by email. Or just the worst news. We had a phrase for this. The worst news received by email, but not like really bad news, amusingly bad news, or news that is now okay if you were dumped a long time by email. 81089 at Max Rushden at Bakers. We should have an email address. You could just forward them to us. Do we?
They
have an
used to
email
be. I think
through the website. Paul always says through the website.
All the email.
No one has checked that. Do you know what? No one has checked the H&J inbox for 25 years. We should go back to the first email that H&J received. Griff says, "Kai lads, Christ, I listened to Cheer Up."
It's talk nihilism. And we do that sometimes.
So anyway, yes. When you were dumped by email, please 81089 at Max Rushden at Baker's Tweet. It's Max and Charlie. All new grown-up Charlie, 50-year-old Charlie Baker, brought you with Toolstation. Join the Toolstation Trade Club and get 10% off all electrical lighting products when you buy cable and flexes. First stop, Toolstation.
whenever we've talked about potential England players for the World Cup, your name is always mentioned of players that we both think should be going. It's not just me and Ben, it's the listener as well. So I'm guessing you would have felt you'd done enough this season to have gone. How did you find out you weren't going? When did you get the call and what was said?
I think I got the call on the thing at Thursday, like everyone else did, whether they were going or not. A good honest conversation. He just said, I think I've got people ahead of you right now. It's nothing to do with you. You've done everything that you could possibly do. I've really enjoyed watching you the past 6 months. Just unfortunate the way it is. And, you know, I respect him as a manager. I think he's a top manager, and I really hope the boys go on to do something incredible this summer, because they truly deserve it. Even the gaffer, they truly deserve it, because he's a top guy. And I appreciated the call, because he didn't have to call me to tell me I wasn't in the squad, so I appreciate that. But for me personally, it's difficult. It's so difficult, because you try and put yourself in the best possible situation to go, and I believe I did. But I think the game's all about opinions. I mean, you guys on the show, it's all opinions. Some are wrong, some are good, some are bad. And I've been on a lot of people's wrong opinions in my career so far, and I've always got over them hurdles and bounced back from it. So this is just another hurdle, another thing to bounce back from.
So I was going to say, so how difficult was it to take? Because again, me and Andy talk about it all the time, and I've been there, where you almost convince yourself that you've played well enough, so you're going to be going. And when that call comes that you're not going, that initial
Neil in Chester writes, "Hi guys, I wasn't dumped by email. This is after Maurizio Pochettino emailed the US players who aren't in the squad. But my mum did send me one to tell me she had my dog put down while I was on holiday in Corfu. I wouldn't have minded, but he was fine when I left 4 days earlier."
What a trip.
Chris in Wrexham says, "Poch dropping players by email is weak. Be a man and dump your wife via fax like Phil Collins did." Is that what Phil Collins did?
Oh, that's nice, isn't it?
By fax?
I like that.
Because, I mean, actually, because it takes a while for a fax. He beeps. It's exciting to get a fax.
It's probably a legal fax,
often.
isn't it? Because if you're Phil Collins, you're like, 100 million quid in. So you probably need to needs to be all above board. You can't just go, well, I'm going to give you half, and then they'll come for more in the end, Max. Never been divorced. Don't know how it works.
I've never, me neither. I don't think. Listen, we don't have time in the show to say, have you ever been divorced?
talkSPORT is lit up this Wednesday lunchtime.
Anyway, Scott Minto, we're not going to ask him that question. He's a divorce lawyer. Let's hear about Nuno. We'll chat to him about Nuno Espirito Santo. Staying at West Ham, first of all, Alex Crook was on Jim and Simon's show. He explained why the Hammers are sticking with him.
As of Monday, David Sullivan was more inclined to part company with Nuno. Scott Parker was very much a talking horse as a potential replacement, given his strong links with West Ham and his record of getting teams out of the Championship. And I think actually it was the intervention of the Czech minority owner, Daniel Kretinsky, that has led us to this point. There's a lot of whispers that Kretinsky is going to buy more of a shareholding in the club. He's going to buy more of those shares from the Gold family, and perhaps potentially even David Sullivan himself. But ultimately, the upshot is that Nuno stays. I think Kretinsky looks at his record in the Championship, maybe looks at his record at West Ham as well, which was top 10 since Nuno came in, but ultimately not enough to save them in the Premier League, and decided that actually, rather than more managerial upheaval, let's stick with someone who's been there, got the T-shirt, having led Wolves to promotion to the Premier League, and let's try and build again.
Hang on. Scott Minto joins us, former West Ham defender, of course. Hey, Scott, you okay?
Hello, Scott.
Yeah, guys, that was seamless, by the way. Divorce by fax. Scott Minto next. Yeah,
it's what you asked us to do.
Actually, apparently, Phil Collins has consistently denied the persistent tabloid rumor that he dumped his second wife, Jill, via a fax machine. Sorry, Quickie. I mean, Quickie knows more than I do, but Nuno's record can't have been top 10 because he got there after 5 games. Like they can't, like that's not possible, is it? I mean, maybe it is, but either way, what do you make of Nuno staying at West Ham?
No, I was listening to Crookie, and he actually corrected himself afterwards. It was top 8 since mid-January.
Oh, okay,
got it.
So that's the form after that sort of horrendous start, and it certainly took him a long time to get going, like he did at Nottingham Forest as well, where he only won 3 of his first 13 games. And there's definitely some questionable. There's pros and cons to Nuno staying or going, and it's a difficult one. And it's not as if there's a massive majority, because at the start he was playing inverted fullbacks and players who perhaps didn't deserve to be in the side or wasn't good enough to be in the side. And the lost points there over Christmas, 1 point of 12, that horrendous performance against Wolves and then lost at home to Forest. But since mid-January, I think it was January the 17th, they really had picked up. Now, the Brentford game, I thought they should have had a couple of penalties. We're unlucky to lose that one, certainly 3-0. St James's Park was a horrendous performance, and he changed it from 3 at the back to taking off Todibo after 20 minutes, who allegedly refused to come on and play in the last game, which I think is a disgrace personally. So look, there's lots of pros and lots of cons, and it's a difficult one for the hierarchy, because I personally would go down the route of I'd stick with him, just because I think he has proven himself in the Premier League, even though you can say he failed at West Ham because they have gone down, and he did take over in September. But actually also he took Wolves up from the Championship to the Premier League as well. Yes, he had quality players, but he was able to mesh them together, and hopefully West Ham are able to do that as well. So sometimes it's better the devil you know, as it were.
But isn't the problem, not really Nuno, but you mentioned the hierarchy, isn't the problem the hierarchy at West Ham?
Well, the problem is the structure. The structure. That's the problem behind the scenes. Ultimately, guys, it's all about what the players do. So it's about recruitment. But the recruitment hasn't been good enough. And the chopping and changing from, directors of footballs over the last 2 or 3 years is just so poor. And, how much has David Sullivan actually been helping choose as well? I mean, the art of good management is delegation. And is he delegating well enough, or does he want to help choose the players that come in? The bottom line is, and I heard Charlie mentioning about the London Stadium, which from a financial point of view is a deal of the century, but from a football point of view, absolutely horrendous. I played at Upton Park. That was one of the most passionate, atmospheric stadiums, I'd say, in European football. And I know that opposition players didn't like playing there as well. So if you're going to go to another stadium and play in front of 60,000, even though it's not a football stadium, and you're promising the world, you better deliver the world. And that's not what's happened. So yes, the hierarchy, the structure, and then you've got Nuno as well with not having his even backroom staff there. There's a lot of problems behind the scenes that need to be sorted out.
I suppose it's difficult, isn't it? Because if he gets off to a bad start, then he'll be gone by Christmas, won't he? But I suppose that would be true of anybody, wouldn't it? So, he's a decent manager. He gets the club. I think his style of football will do very well in the Championship, especially if he can get a few of the top players to stick around. Do you think they will, Scott?
Well, that's the question, Charlie. And I think unless you're Mikel Arteta or maybe Unai Emery, I think everyone's 6 games from the sack. So that's just the way that modern day management is. The question is, what are the finances? How much money are West Ham going to lose? Who could they possibly sell? Who could they bring in as well? What's going to happen to Jared Bowen? Remember, he's 29 now. So how much money do you want for him? Are you willing to let him go on a smaller fee and say, look, you deserve to be in the Premier League? Or does Jared actually turn around and say, look, I've had a word with the missus and the father-in-law, and we've come to a conclusion we're going to stay and give it another year. It is all dictated by the finances and how much perhaps even David Sullivan and Kretinsky are willing to put in themselves. there's a massive black hole coming and they need to sort it out. And if they don't sort it out properly, then I'm not going to say I worry for West Ham in terms of doing a Leicester. Don't forget, next season, it goes down to 8 for the playoffs. I believe West Ham can definitely finish top 8, but that shouldn't be what it's about. It's about top 2, because we know anything can happen in the playoffs.
Yeah, and also it will be really interesting to see how full that stadium gets. Because, you know, it does get, 60-odd thousand. Like, it's a huge attendance it gets. And I know that it's not hard to get a ticket sometimes. And, you know, that's no disrespect to West Ham fans. It's a big stadium to fill. But, like, lots of people just go because they want to see some Premier League football. So they won't go because it's not the Premier League. If they start well, maybe. But if they don't start well, you sort of wonder what playing in that stadium will be like for West Ham.
Yeah. You know, it's going to be... It's going to be surreal. Even if it's 30,000, which is a lot of people, that's only half full. So how are they going to do it? What's happening with season tickets? How well that's going to go? The tourists, as you say, you know, the people coming into London and wanting to watch a Premier League football match, much easier, say, to go to West Ham than it is maybe a Chelsea or Arsenal or Spurs. Well, do they want to go to a championship game now? So again, it's all about the finances, and therefore it's about the brains behind that and the structure. And I find it strange that West Ham waited actually to the day after they got relegated to decide whether they're going to keep someone or not. For me, that should have all been done beforehand. Be decisive, make the decision. This is what we're going to do going forward. It just feels as if it's almost reactive rather than proactive, and that's worrying.
You're in the car, Scott. Where are you off to?
Where are you going, Scott?
Well, we're actually having a bit of lunch with the family, to be honest with you. I've dipped out. Sean, the producer, asked if I wouldn't mind doing it. That's fine. I would imagine the kids would have eaten all my food by the time. But I'll build talkSPORT for the food that I missed out on. That's not a
really good idea. What have you gone for? What style of food is it?
Where are you at? Wagamama's or something?
Actually, I was about to order a full English.
Oh,
tremendous! And what's your
even is English anymore, Scott?
Okay. What's a different show, I think, Charlie? What's your dream plate? What's the dream full English for you, Scott?
So the dream full English, and it probably is my last supper. Let's have a think. Bacon, egg,
not this
sausage.
one specifically, but this is okay, right? Bacon,
egg,
sausage.
I hope not, mate.
No,
That will be the last time I speak to you. Yeah,
be awkward, wouldn't it? Yeah, okay.
Bacon,
egg, sausage. Yeah.
Yeah. There's got to be black pudding, hash browns.
Yeah.
A little bit of beans, but don't go heavy on beans. And if I want to go for it as well, fried slice.
Okay, not like a fried slice, yeah. But you want your beans in a ramekin? Is that what you're saying? You just like a little,
just a little. In my head, beans are unhealthy, so the rest of it is somehow healthy.
Okay.
So I think
someone needs to sit down.
We go big on everything else.
We need a nutritionist for Scott Minto. Well, look, thanks very much, Scott.
Minto, small on beans, big on everything else.
Absolutely.
Cheers, Scott. Scott
Cheers,
Minto
guys.
Thank you, Scott.
Is it bad, Charlie, that I enjoyed the whole conversation, but I really
picked up. The best bit was the English breakfast bit.
Was when I was like, I mean, I think you need a lot of beans, and it's not a conversation that hasn't been done before.
We're going over old ground there.
We are going over old ground here, aren't we? But it is nice to think about, isn't it?
I like thinking about sausages.
Once again, I draw your attention to 50. You really grow up. I like to think about sausages.
I do like to think about sausages.
Apparently, Crookie said, instead of stalking horse, referred to Scott Parker as a talking horse.
A talking horse. That's nice.
I really enjoyed. Anyway, it is Max and Charlie with you until 4. Sam Matterface will join us. He's out in Leipzig. See how the sausage gilet is going down over there ahead of the Europa League final, Crystal Palace versus Rayo Vallecano, which is live on talkSPORT tonight, and he'll join us next.
I think from day one, we were very clear that we are trying to select and build the best possible team. which is not necessarily to select and collect the 26 most talented players. Teams win championships. It's as simple as that. And what we are trying to achieve in summer can only be achieved as a team.
Is he right, Emmanuel?
I totally agree with him.
Team over talent.
You know, it's the same, you know, when you manage a club, you know, as a manager, you know, the team spirit is more important than individuals. And we've seen that every single season when the team who won the big trophies, you know, are always playing as a team, not as an individual. Individuals are very important, but for me, the team is more important than individual. So, as I said before, I was quite surprised in a good way when I look at the list, you know, from Tuchel. And I thought to myself, maybe he's copying, you know, what happened in France a long time ago, not so far away, when Aimé Jacquet became the manager for the national team. He decided to make strong choices, you know, strong opinions, and he was under critics. A lot of people were they were killing him, you know. But I want to remind people that during the European tournament in 1996 here in England, France, we went until the semi-final. 2 years after that, we became world champion. And then 2 years after the World Cup, we became European champion. And from that, they played the final in 2016. They played the final in 2020 against Argentina, won the World Cup in Russia. The reason why I'm saying that is because when he took over, you know, as a manager, he decided to take away, you know, from the team the lack of Cantona and Ginola. They were huge players. Both guys, they were huge personality, huge player on the pitch as well. They were to pick up their form, you know. They could have done so much things, you know. But Aimé Jacquet decided.
Nuno Espirito Santo is staying at West Ham as they go down to the Championship. We're told minority shareholder Daniel Kretinsky had been key to that decision. Our chief football correspondent is Alex Crook.
I think Kretinsky looks at his record in the Championship, maybe looks at his record at West Ham as well, which was top 10 since Nuno came in, but ultimately not enough to save them in the Premier League, and decided that actually, rather than more managerial upheaval, let's stick with someone who's been there, got the T-shirt.
Elsewhere, Kasper Schmeichel has been forced to retire with a shoulder injury. The 39-year-old Celtic keeper hasn't played since February and says he didn't want his career to end this way. talkSPORT understands Barcelona are in touch with Newcastle about Anthony Gordon, with Bayern Munich also interested. Meanwhile, we're told Man City are hopeful of signing Elliot Anderson, who would prefer the Etihad over Old Trafford. And following the controversial stoppage of Rico Verhoeven in the 11th round of his fight with Alexander Usyk, Verhoeven's trainer, Peter Fury, has told us what happened when he approached the ref.
I said, why did you stop it? He said, well, you know, I didn't hear the bell. And I'd done what I thought was right at the time. You know, that's all he said.
Peter Fury says Turki Al-Sheikh has promised Verhoeven more fights. There's more at talksport.com.
whistle blows. Oliver Glasner has led Crystal Palace to their first ever European final.
Honestly, very proud on the players, especially for many of them it was the first European experience.
Mitchell with the ball in, and he's standing in the near post. Ismail Assar, yet again.
In an ideal world, we'd top off Oliver's reign with a win next Wednesday.
Jean-Philippe Mateta, hands on hips. Here he goes, right-footed. Oh, he just calmly rolls it beyond the goalkeeper.
I just keep working hard and believe anything can happen.
Everybody, young and old, is on their feet. There'll be fans on their phones already, booking hotels and flights to Germany.
Porridge. Anyway, I mean, well, that'll do for 10 minutes, won't it? Why not? 8:10:89. So, yeah, live commentary tonight of the Conference League final between Crystal Palace and Rayo Vallecano. And our commentator will be Sam Matterface, who's out in Leipzig now. Hey, Sam.
Hey, Sam.
Hey, gents, how are you? You okay? Yeah, welcome to Leipzig. Welcome to well, we're on the edge of the main square, just down from the train station. The train station's just away to my left-hand side. The main square just behind me, away to my right, Marktplatz, where all the Crystal Palace fans congregating. They're all coming in from different parts of Europe, some of them from Wroclaw, where they've been spending the day, some from Frankfurt, some from Berlin. They're piling into the city. There's a couple sitting down on a bench just 3 or 4 yards away from me, one man with an Adam Wharton T-shirt on. He'll be pleased to know we think he starts tonight. He seems to have recovered from the ankle injury that caused him a problem at the weekend. The atmosphere building nicely. Obviously, it's all about getting over the line tonight. But I know there were some mixed reports yesterday of some incidents, but we haven't seen anything like that at all. It's all been very good spirits so far.
And both these sides have a kind of, there's a sort of fairy tale element to this. You know, Crystal Palace's first European final. But Rayo Vallecano are a fascinating football team, aren't they?
Absolutely, no doubt. You know, from a working class barrio on the edge of Madrid, a team that have never managed to get to a European final before. It's only their second ever European campaign, and their last one was 24 years ago. So for them, it's a historic occasion as well. Actually, we're staying in the Rayo Vallecano team hotel, and they've been milling around. We've been bumping into the players and the management staff over the last 24 hours. They seem very relaxed. They're quite happy to integrate with everybody. And one of them actually bumped into them in the lift last night. And I said, are you ready for the final? He said, I'm ready to win the final. Yeah. So look, they're just as confident as Crystal Palace. They're a high energy, high pressing team. It's not going to be easy for Crystal Palace. I know a lot of people think this is just going to be a walkover. I don't think that's going to be the case. I think it'll be a tight game tonight. I expect, though, Crystal Palace to get the job done eventually.
I just think you look at Villa last week in the Europa League, and I feel like it's going to be the same tonight. The golf in class of just their day in, day out level feels to be so much higher in the Premier League, Sam.
Well, it's the physicality, Charlie, that I think does the damage. You know, the physicality in the Premier League is of the next level, the speed and the tempo of the game. Look, it isn't as hot today as it was yesterday. Yesterday it was 31 degrees. Today we're down to about 25, 26. It's not the same level of intensity. There's a cool breeze in the air. And, of course, by the time we kick off at 9 o'clock, the temperature will have come down. That will allow both sets of players to be able to play at a higher tempo. I think that Crystal Palace should have the class to overcome Rayo Vallecano. They would certainly expect that. But they're going to have to work for it. When they get going, they're very good on the front foot and being an attacking team, Rayo Vallecano, and they don't concede many goals. So Crystal Palace, who do score a lot of goals in the Conference League in Europe against what you would call inferior opposition to those they come up against week in, week out in the Premier League, have struggled in domestic competition to score as many goals as they have done on the continent. So when they go up a grade and they find themselves up against tougher opposition, they do miss chances. They don't create as much. So look, they're going to have to be clinical tonight.
Maybe this is a question for tomorrow, because if Palace don't win, it's irrelevant. But is there a danger, or would UEFA start worrying, because now the teams that get knocked out of the Champions League don't go into the Europa League and Europa don't go into the Conference League? I can't remember if they ever did. What it means is the level doesn't change, right? So the Premier League team is likely to do well in the Europa League, right? We saw an all-English final last year between two not particularly brilliant English teams, and then we saw Villa winning it this year. Now we've got Chelsea winning the Conference League last year, West Ham was it the year before? I forget, and now possibly Palace. That UEFA might start going, hang on, this is a bit of a problem that English sides are winning all the other competitions, even if the Champions League remains sort of mixed between the countries.
Well, I'll only say to that, if they are whinging about the fact that a league is strong enough to be able to compete in all of their competitions, then they'll probably look back over the last 20 years and have a look at the Spanish dominance. Remember, 24 finals that Spanish teams have been in since the beginning of 2012. They've won 23 of them. They've been dominating European landscape for the last 10 years. The fact is that every league has its day, doesn't it? And right now, the Premier League is stronger in terms of physicality than most of the other leagues. It's only the top teams in Europe that can really compete with the English teams. You've seen that, as you've said, in the Europa League and, of course, in the Conference League over the last couple of years. Look, I think next year, of course, they'll have a problem with it. But ultimately, no one really wants one country to win everything, but we do. We want the Premier League teams to be successful, and there's every chance that they will be successful tonight. Crystal Palace, I think they'll get the job done. I think Arsenal have got a great chance on Saturday, despite everybody saying that they're going to get rolled over if they make it a horrible game, make it nasty, and keep, as they have done all season, teams out. Then there's a possibility that they win that as well. And next year, I think Brighton can win this competition. I think Bournemouth and Sunderland, and maybe Crystal Palace, if they're in it, will compete for the Europa League as well. And then you've got 5 very good teams in the Champions League. So I just think it's a testament to the strength of the Premier League and what the Premier League has produced over the last 10 years. And look, it won't last forever, but while it lasts, let's enjoy it.
Yeah, I don't know if I always want Premier League teams to win everything. I want it to be a mix. That's what makes European football great and different, I guess. But
I just want to ask one question about
It's not the same team winning it, is it, Max? It's not Manchester City are winning every single European Champions League or Liverpool winning it every year. It's a mixed team. No one's really retaining the Champions League. It's a very hard thing to do. Maybe PSG will do that on Saturday night, but that will be a surprise. Real Madrid are the only team that have really done that over the course of the last 20 years. So, look, it's very rare for a team to go back-to-back. So it's always changing hands. It's just different teams.
Oliver Glasner's last game in charge of Palace, Sam. Are you surprised that he's seen it out to the end, that either no one's come in to take him, or that he's just gone, okay, if I'm going to stay, I'm going to stay? Are you surprised at that?
I have to be honest that I went to Zrinjski Mostar with Crystal Palace earlier in the season.
Yeah.
Went to a beautiful, beautiful Bosnian town where we learned a lot about the history of the Balkan War. We saw this wonderful bridge that was bombed in the Balkan War and has been rebuilt. And alongside the history, the whole trip was cloaked in ranked animosity between supporters, players, manager. It was just not a nice place to be. And I thought, if you'd given me an opportunity to predict the future then, I would have said to you, he won't last the season, because they'd all fallen out. The word I was getting from inside the club was if he doesn't win at the weekend, that he'll be out on his ear, they'll sack him and they'll move on. Now, somehow, because he's quite a good diplomat and a very good orator, he has managed to heal those wounds within the club, amongst the playing staff, and they're all playing for him again. In fact, on Monday, they sent him a farewell video. They had a big moment with him where they waved goodbye because, of course, as you say, it's his last game in charge. They haven't got anyone lined up yet, Crystal Palace, and that did sort of spark a few conversations about whether or not he might stay on, but I don't think he's going to. It was pretty final. When I spoke to him yesterday, it was all sort of done and dusted, move on. I'm going to sit on the sofa and watch Crystal Palace in the Europa League. So I am surprised, because of what happened in Bosnia, that we've got this far with everything intact. But when you look back at his record as the Crystal Palace manager, I mean, he's deserved to see this season out, because it's been the greatest time in their history in terms of winning trophies. Okay, there'll be fans that go back many years and look at other great teams that have played in the Eagles' colours. But look, those Steve Coppell days in the early 90s, brilliant. Pardew, who's with us today, took them to the final of 2016's FA Cup. You had the great teams back in the day under Malcolm Allison, but this is different level. FA Cup winners, Community Shield winners, and possibly tonight, Europa Conference League winners.
Thank you, Sam. Have a
Brilliant,
lovely
Sam.
evening.
Thank you.
Cheers, boys. Have a good one.
Sam had no gilet.
He'll be
no
loving it.
sausage inside
He'll be
there.
loving it in Germany, Max, won't he?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
So many sausages in Germany.
I don't know. They're quite often quite sort of meat aero.
Meat aero? Is that?
Yeah, sort of like a
holes in it?
versed. Yeah, like they're just a bit sort of. They're just not. Listen, I mean, this person says typical pro-Europe lefty,
Yeah,
says
that's
Scott.
you,
But
Scott.
when it comes to sausages, I would take a Cumberland ring over a bratwurst any day. Anyway, it is Max and Charlie with you on talkSPORT. Ben Jacobs joins us. Transfer window opens in 19 days. Hold on for it. But there's the rumours are beginning already.
You're going down next season.
No, we're not going down, mate.
You're going down, mate.
No, even you know that. Even you know
Well,
that.
why am I saying it?
Well, because you know that's not going to happen.
What do we know? No, I don't. I don't say
never,
things.
You know that's never going to happen.
Well,
we had this season was an absolute joke.
And what's going to change?
Well, everything's going to change.
Well, okay, name it.
Well, starting one with the manager.
Right.
The manager's come in and he's got results kept us up.
Right. Okay.
He won't allow.
You said that last season.
No, we got Thomas Frank in the summer, and that was the wrong appointment. This is the right appointment.
Okay. But you said that last summer.
So everything will change.
You've got a new manager. You said that.
They won't allow that. They won't allow that to happen.
And you can't allow. You can't.
They won't allow that to
You've
happen.
not got a magic
You can't
wand.
sit there and say that Spurs are going to go down, mate.
I'm saying you now. You will be in a relegation battle this season.
Jace,
promise you.
Mate, shut
no,
up. What are you on about?
You're one of my favourites to go down.
What are you on about?
You can't just flip. You honestly, you've been in football all your life. You can't flick a switch and just think we're Spurs. You were Spurs last year, and you're Spurs this season.
Well, that's
you
absolute garbage.
have gone through the
That's
same
absolute
thing.
garbage.
Yeah, it's
Teams
worse.
finished 17th, and then they sort themselves out.
Did you get better
and
or
then they
worse?
crap on. What? We've got more points this season.
Did you get better or worse?
Well, technically, we got better.
Did you get better or worse?
Factually, we got better. Because we got 30.
We
got 38 points last season. We got 41 this season. Good season.
See, this is the
Good season. That.
This is the arrogance and the naivety of you, and you're just Spurs, mate.
No, but listen, I'm up for a laugh. Listen, I'm all up for a laugh, right?
Jay,
and it has been.
You're going down next season.
Oh, we're not. Oh, Jay.
You're going down, mate.
Jace.
You're going down.
Jace. Come on, mate.
EFL Roundup.
Come on, mate.
It's coming.
I know you want to keep the narrative alive, right? Just for your own little self-worth.
What do you mean self-worth?
Oh, you want to keep it alive. You keep your little EFL roundups and keep your little Ange mask and keep all that garbage that you've done all season.
What do you mean garbage?
Load of old guff. All right, load of old guff. And it's only been good because Spurs have been crap. All right, so I know you want to keep it going, but you can't sit
24 months.
You can't sit there with a straight face and say Spurs are going to go down.
Right, next season, you're hearing this.
Get a full rundown of all the Championship's biggest teams in the Sports Bar. EFL Roundup with Jamie O'Hara on talkSPORT.
I'm going to put it out there now, right? I'm going to phone the boss. All right, I'm in the break. I'm phoning the boss, not the mid boss, the big boss. All right.
Okay.
They're getting deleted from the archive.
What's going to get deleted?
Never to be seen again.
Is
EFL Roundup cannot be played on this station one more time. All right, because Spurs are in the Premier League. So forget your little EFL
Get a
Roundup.
full rundown of all the Championship's biggest teams in the Sports Bar. EFL Roundup with Jamie O'Hara on talkSPORT.
Tim Vine's been in touch, Charlie.
Yes.
Never meet your heroes. He's quick, isn't he? Quick.
He's so quick.
He's very quick.
Got the wordplay.
Max and Charlie with you until 4 in partnership with Tool Station. First up, Tool Station, our transfer guru, Ben Jacobs, joins us. Hey, Ben, 19 days till the window opens.
Here in the studio.
Yes, I know.
Very nice, isn't it?
In a lovely striped jumper. Can you hold yourself together with the window 19 days away, Ben? Or
window
are you
19
okay?
days away. World Cup even less. So it is going to be a busy summer. But I think we're going to get a bit business in the next few days.
Okay. What's going to happen? Where do you want to start?
Well, Edison and Manchester United appears to be advancing, and at this stage, I would say Manchester United are the only club in the race. Atletico Madrid had looked a bit earlier in the window, but it looks like they're going to complete a deal before the World Cup for João Gomez from Wolves for a fee in the region of £40 million, and a similar kind of fee for Edison, just under £40 million. And the clubs now are not far off a full verbal agreement, and Edison has already agreed terms on a 5-year contract. So if Manchester United pull the trigger because they're weighing up lots of deals, then they can get that one as their first bit of business for the summer. And all signs at the moment point towards a club-to-club agreement imminent between Manchester United and Atalanta.
Has Michael Carrick made any noises of anyone going out?
Well, Manuel Ugarte, I think, could leave, but that's not going to be an overnight saga. The main reason for the midfield is due to needing a revamp anyway, coupled with the fact that Casemiro is departing, his wages off the books, which allows Manchester United with Champions League money to make a real play at more than one name. So my feeling is by the time the window ends, minimum 2 midfielders, but potentially even 3. And Manchester United started planning, of course, under Ruben Amorim, also thinking that Kobbie Mainoo was not going to be part of their long-term plans. That's gone to the other extreme now. So he's going to be a starter for Manchester United. And that's led them to feel that the Casemiro replacement is the most important signing, but there will be 2 midfielders. And I still think, along with Edison, the second name to come in will have proven Premier League experience. And the only caveat to that is if Aurélien Tchouameni becomes available. But if you discount Tchouameni, Elliot Anderson, number 1 target for Manchester United, but Manchester City are the favourites. Matthias Fernandes from West Ham United, the likes of Alex Scott, Carlos Baleba, Tyler Adams have all been looked at. And the commonality between many of these names is that they've all got that proven Premier League experience.
Yeah. Baleba is part of a set of Brighton players that De Zerbi is apparently interested in. What with Van Hecker and Verbruggen? What do you make of those rumours?
Yeah, I think Carlos Baleba could be on the move. The challenge for Tottenham is that Baleba's going to have some options with European football. The advantage for Spurs is that, perversely, by staying up and not being under financial fair play heading into the next cycle, they'll be able to spend a little bit bigger because the new financial rules for the Premier League squad cost ratio allow a higher ratio of your revenue that you can then go on and spend on transfers. And in the first year of squad cost ratio, there's basically no punishments if you exceed the 85% by over 30%. So the long and short of it is you can actually spend up to 115% of your revenue on transfers if you're not in an FFP cycle, whereas if you're under FFP, you have to abide by the 70%. So Tottenham may look to maximise that. I do think they'll add a central midfielder, and in addition to that, they will be looking for a centre-back because Christian Romero is expected to depart. And you never know, a number 9...
Tried to depart last week.
Exactly, and he came back, but I don't think he'll be U-turning again. And for me as well, some of this is Tottenham wanting to move him on, whereas Mickey van der Ven, I'm told, is very happy under Roberto De Zerbi and could now sign a new deal. Luka Vuskovic is going to come back and is highly rated, but there's room for another centre-back, and it, of course, might be Marcos Senesi because there's a verbal agreement there. So Tottenham are quite confident on that deal. Andy Robertson is potentially going to join, but Juventus have made a late hijack to see whether they can change his mind about joining Tottenham. So Spurs are going to be busy. And remember the left wing as well, because they didn't quite address that in the summer. And there's still a chance that Spurs come back in for the Manchester City winger Savinho as well.
Rumours about Morgan Rogers and Anthony Gordon. 2 players who hopefully will, have good World Cups.
Yeah, I think Anthony Gordon is going to be on the move come what may, and it's been crystal clear for some time.
Is that the player or is that the club needing to free up funds?
I think it's a mixture of Gordon wanting another opportunity, but also, as you say, Newcastle realising, a bit like Aston Villa with Morgan Rogers, that one big sale for Gordon, and they're in a much stronger position as far as Sandro Tonali or Bruno Guimaraes is concerned. So if I had to wager, I would say Tino Livramento and Anthony Gordon could go. Lewis Hall, question mark. And of course, there's lots of interest in Sandro Tonali, but there's a chance that Newcastle fight to keep. So regarding Gordon, it's fascinating because 2 weeks ago, Barcelona heard the asking price and said, we're just going to focus on Marcus Rashford. Now they've changed their mind, and only in the last 24 hours, Barca held a direct meeting with Newcastle, and they feel that Gordon's agent commission and his wage lower than Rashford. And as a consequence, even though the fee is higher for Anthony Gordon, it still could be good value. And whether they then went to still try and sign Rashford in addition remains to be seen. But Barca are focusing on Anthony Gordon now. He's keen on the move. The fee Barca would be prepared to pay is between 55 and 60 million pounds. Newcastle wants 75 million plus. So there is a starting goal from valuation. Bayern are still there, and there's Premier League interest. And with Morgan Rogers, Aston Villa essentially said to Rogers, if he extended by 1 year last year, they would then entertain offers this summer for 80 million or more. So this is actually Villa, a bit like Newcastle with Gordon, saying it might make financial sense. Yeah. Peak age, peak interest, peak price to sell Rodgers and then reinvest some of that money on a squad revamp with Champions League football. Rodgers is not pushing or agitating. He likes playing under Unai Emery, but there's significant
isn't he? He's in the
interest.
Champions League. He's looks like he's going to start in an England shirt, or he's at least sort of second choice. So he's why would he move? I suppose.
Yeah, I think that Rodgers will move because he can get a better wage and he can join another project with likely Champions League football or certainly some kind of European football. The only exception is Chelsea next season. They're there. You've got Manchester United and Arsenal, both with Champions League football. Remember, Carrick had Rodgers at Middlesbrough. Arsenal looking for a starting left winger that can also get into the middle and play at number 10. And PSG are interested in Rodgers as well. So the volume of interest might mean at the right number in excess of 80 million. It's just a good deal for all parties. And that's why I expect Rodgers to be sold.
Good stuff, Ben. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks, Ben.
Thanks a lot.
Ben Jacobs, our transfer reporter. It's Max and Charlie with you on talkSPORT. Brought to you with Tool Station. First stop, Tool Station.
Interestingly, we just want to get your sort of on this whole players, seeing what people say about them and seeing what people write about them. And just quickly, this is what Gabby Agbonlahor had to say on a player yesterday on talkSPORT Breakfast. We were talking about Spurs and their saying up on the last day. And he had this to say about Vicario.
These players should have been walking around the pitch on their hands and knees saying sorry to the fans. And Vicario, I'm watching the game. I'm listening to the commentary with Gary Neville, who's spot on. This goalkeeper has done nothing in a Spurs shirt, been dreadful. And there's a clip of him offering out Seamus Coleman. Vicario, we've seen you punch, mate. You can't punch the ball. You're not going to be able to punch anybody. So we know you can't fight. So have some respect for a Premier League legend in Seamus Coleman. But that summed up Vicario yesterday. All over the sideline, trying to be a coach and jumping on the manager's back when they scored the first goal. Paulinho, I think, is an embarrassment to that football club. I'll get rid of him.
So that was Gabby talking yesterday on talkSPORT Breakfast. And talkSPORT put it on their Instagram. And what happened? Vicario commented saying, scary. And Gabby then replied, calling him a bluffer. So, Ali, what are your thoughts on players coming back and hitting back at what pundits are saying about them?
No, I think that they're entitled to their opinion, aren't they? If the pundit's entitled to give their opinion, they're entitled to have a right to reply. But I'm not too sure I've been getting involved in it. I think they've got far bigger issues and other things to concentrate on. I understand sometimes players needs or feel the right to defend themselves. They should always have that and have the right to do that. But I just think sometimes you wouldn't want to be getting yourself involved in what can turn into a petty argument. When I'm not saying you should be above that, but you've got more important things to worry about. Listen, there's no difference to a pundit having an opinion than there is a punter having an opinion, and we've had it since football began. That will not change. I'm with Jeff on the Fernandes thing. I think Fernandes has been brilliant this season. I really do. I think he's been absolutely brilliant. I'm a wee bit surprised he got himself involved in that kind of stuff. And I'm a little bit surprised Vicario is getting himself involved in that kind of stuff with Gabby. But absolutely, I would defend the right to reply. But I think sometimes there's no real need for them to get themselves involved.
Good afternoon all, it's Max Rushden and Charlie Baker with you on talkSPORT until 4 this afternoon. We'll do some Spurs in the next hour as well. We'll do some NBA. We'll hear about Rayo Vallecano ahead of the Conference League final with Crystal Palace, which is live on talkSPORT. But the wheel of football was rudely interrupted by some Spygate sports headlines last week. So we will give it the attention it deserves in just a second as Spencer, the Manchester United fan, takes on Ben, the West Brom fan and reigning champion, in the wheel of football coming up in just a second. Before that, Matt Hutchinson has the sport.
talkSPORT Sports Update, powered by the Nissan Van Range. Commercial vehicles built around your business. Search Nissan Vans or head to your local Nissan Van Centre.
With your latest sports headlines, I'm Matt Hutchinson. Good afternoon. West Ham say Nuno Espirito Santo is highly motivated to take the club back to the top flight after confirming he's staying. Our chief football correspondent, Alex Crook, says minority shareholder Daniel Kretinsky was key to that decision.
I think Kretinsky looks at his record in the Championship, maybe looks at his record at West Ham as well, which was top 10 since Nuno came in, but ultimately not enough to save them in the Premier League, and decided that actually, rather than more managerial upheaval, let's stick with someone who's been there, got the T-shirt.
West Ham have also reduced season ticket prices by up to 30% for the upcoming Championship campaign. Deep change is needed, the words of Tottenham's hierarchy. The Lewis family have publicly apologised for a second 17th place finish on the bounce, but won't be selling up. Now, Oliver Glasner has been asked how it would feel to win Palace's first ever European trophy in his final game for the club.
It would mean a lot, but not for me personally. I think especially for the players, for the group, because I know how hard every single player, every single one in the staff worked throughout the season.
You can hear them face Rayo Vallecano live on talkSPORT tonight. Meanwhile, former Palace chairman Simon Jordan has given his verdict on Glasner's time at Selhurst Park.
He's proved that he's an excellent manager, but he's temperamental. And some people would suggest I don't need the temperamental side. It won't affect his legacy, but his legacy's been tarnished with the Palace fans because they should be he should be getting the Guardiola celebration.
Kasper Schmeichel says he's thankful for the opportunities and friendships football has given him after announcing his retirement because of a shoulder injury. In transfer news, talkSPORT understands Barcelona are in touch with Newcastle about Anthony Gordon, and we're also being told Man United are close to agreeing a fee of around £38 million for Atalanta midfielder Edison.
talkSPORT News.
Households across the UK are being urged to switch to a fixed energy tariff, and the fertility rate in England and Wales has fallen to a record low. Emma has more news in half an hour.
talkSPORT weather with QuickFit. If the pollen count has your nose running all day, get your cabin filter replaced at your local QuickFit. Visit quickfit.com and book today.
We're expecting plenty of sunshine across the UK this afternoon, with some cloud in Scotland and northern England.
Good afternoon. You are listening to Rushden and Baker on talkSPORT with you until 4. Before we play the Wheel of Football, Charlie, I just wanted, could you just run by me again? Ben was talking about the percentages and the differences with PSR. And you were nodding. You were really doing some great nodding there. And I was gonna say,
as you know, Max, since I've turned 50, that's the sort of thing I'm into.
Could you just run it by? I must admit,
it's 20% over the 80%, and then 80% carry the one.
Right,
and then plus 15%, and then that means it frees up a load of money.
Okay, I understand. I must admit, I started to concentrate, and then all I could think, I reckon if I hadn't been looking at you nodding sagely as if you knew what was happening, I would have been able to concentrate on what was happening, but I couldn't concentrate. So if anyone listening could just précis what that was. It's another great message from Lee in Stourbridge. I'm not sure I can read it entirely out. It says, Max Charlie, did this guy say 80 million for Rodgers? Is he on blank, as in insert, a Class A drug? Try 100 million. And if he has a brilliant World Cup, even more. Is that a sign of taking that illicit drug that you slightly undervalue attacking midfielders who play in the Midlands? Is that what, if they say, if you take this, you'll get tired. If you take this, you'll have a real energy rush. If you take this, you'll undervalue Midlands-based footballers.
That is one of the signs.
That's what he's on. He's on that. You can tell.
That's one of the checks the police do.
He just said Elliot Anderson's worth 40 million. He's on it. You can
absolutely
tell.
On.
Anyway,
step out the car, please, sir.
Let's
Could you value Morgan Gibbs White?
I don't know, 30 million. Oh my God, a free.
Cuff him.
He's absolutely. This guy's wasted. Anyway, let's play the Wheel of Football. Good afternoon. Welcome to the Wheel of Football. And here are your hosts, Max Rushden and Charlie Baker.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon.
Remind us how it all works.
I have a pocket, an A4 plastic pocket. It used to be a wheel, but it was too annoying.
Couldn't be bothered.
It was too annoying to get in and out of the studio. So I have a plastic pocket, and it involves various categories, such as...
You've forgotten how the game works.
Best cook. There's one. Best cook. Just showing people how it worked. Best cook.
Yeah.
Our guests, they say the name of a footballer, and then we decide on who would have been the best cook, and that's how you win a point.
It's a conversation, isn't it? Reigning champion is Ben, the West Brom fan. Hey, Ben.
Good afternoon, gents. How are we all?
Still in, Ben, aren't you? Still in.
You're still there, up against...
Hanging on.
Yeah, you are. Spencer, the Man United fan, was playing well last week. Hi, Spencer.
Hello, lads. I messed up a bit because I misunderstood Charlie's accent, and I thought he said Beth Cook, not Best Cook, because Andre Kanchelskis would have definitely beaten Reggie Blinker.
All right, okay. Sure.
Hey, let's play again.
Let's play.
Let's play the Wheel of Football. Okay, Ben, you're the reigning champion. Give us a footballer, please.
Let's go topical. Can I go Sun Ji-hai, please?
Sun Ji-hai.
Sun Ji-hai. That is topical, isn't it? Let's go. And Spencer?
I'll go topical as well. Morgan Rodgers.
Morgan Rodgers.
And Sun Ji-hai. What's the question?
One hand in the pocket, and it is biggest tipper. Biggest tipper.
Ben?
Well, as we know, it's a massive thing within the Chinese culture, but in particular, Sun Ji-hai was known for being a very, very generous tipper during his time in Manchester, and I think there's a few articles around about that, but I just haven't quite got them to hand at the moment.
Okay, Spencer?
I believe that the best tipper that Morgan Rodgers is going to deliver this year is turning out in a Man United shirt, so the best tip that you can get for Rodgers is playing in red.
Sun Ji-hai.
I'm giving that to Ben. I didn't want sort of transfery stuff.
We don't want.
Spencer's let himself
I like
down
it when
there.
it's just people naming old footballers. That's the best bit. But look, there's no rules. We're making up as we go along.
Of course there are rules. 1-0 to Ben. Spencer, give us a footballer.
Gary Mabbott.
Lovely.
Gary Mabbott. Okay, this is strong. Yeah, famously. Okay, if it's best diabetic, he wins. Okay, Ben.
Can I go Paul Pescasolido, please?
Okay.
Paul Pescasolido versus
If it's lack
Gary
of insulin
Mabbott.
in blood, then we are.
Okay. Here we go.
Paul Pescasolido, and the category is best hair. Pascal Salido all day long.
I mean, there are so many reasons why Mabbott. I mean, one of the nicest men in the whole world, Gary Mabbott. But even he would say he's so humble. If we got him on the phone now, he would say, Paul Pascal-Salido's hair is better than mine.
Paul Pascal-Salido's hair was really good. So
it was
good
great.
Hair.
Absolutely, yeah. Okay, so who was Pascal-Salido? Who got that point?
That was me. Ben.
It's Ben.
Okay,
2-0
1-1.
up.
Okay,
It's gone 2-0.
It's 2-0.
2-0.
He's a pro. He's good at this game. Ben, who are you picking? This for the win, Ben.
Can I go with Fanini George, please?
Fanini George, of course you can.
Lovely
Fanini
player.
George. Spencer, you need this.
Roger Miller.
Roger Miller versus Fanini George. Okay, this is exciting, isn't it? Nigeria versus Cameroon here. What's the question?
Angriest. Who's the angriest?
Okay. Right. Who's the angriest out of Roger Miller and Fanini George? I mean, Roger Miller's just constantly smiling.
All I can think of Roger Miller is dancing at the corner flag.
Dancing and smiling.
That is the least angry thing
angry,
you can possibly do on a football pitch.
Grinning, dancing man.
Of all the who picked that? Was that you again, Spencer? I'm not
yeah,
really
well, I was just
paying
going to say, I heard he got quite angry once when they said he was 48, not 49.
Oh, right.
that's a good
there is
point.
that, isn't there? Yeah.
Ben, Fanini George, what are you going to say?
Well, he's a doubly aggressive person. He, in fact, got very angry in an altercation with George Burley. It was a unwritten story on the training ground during their ill-fated UEFA Cup at the time.
This sounds fake, and actually we know we've got proof of Roger Miller being emotional because he's happy and he's dancing. People can flip. That sort of person can flip.
Yeah.
I don't know, Charlie.
I'm trying for you here, Spence. I'm trying for you.
You can't.
I was 2-1 up last week.
He was 2-0 up last week. He was.
You were 2-1 up, and Spygate got you. But that's just the way. That's the way football
That's where
works.
it goes sometimes.
I don't think you can give Roger Miller as angry. I don't think you can. But we'll play to the end.
Okay.
Find out you're 3-0. You're 3-0 down. You're playing for pride now, Spencer. Give us a footballer.
UC Askelainen.
UC Askelainen, lovely, yeah.
Okay, Ben.
Francis Benali, please.
Benali.
Sure. Jaskelainen versus Benali. Here we go.
Most passionate lover.
Okay, right.
Sam Allardyce would sign him again and again and again.
What are you suggesting?
And I'm not suggesting there was anything going on.
That's not I know Francis Benali. I don't know to speculate about.
Benali's got a lot of energy, isn't he? He's got a lot of energy.
Stamina.
He does all those walks.
He's got stamina. He's got to say.
Ben, what do you think?
Benali for the win. Okay, the fifth footballer. Who was Benali? Was that you, Ben?
Yeah, that was. Yeah.
4-0 up. This for a
embarrassing,
clean sweep, Ben.
Spencer.
Who are you going for, Ben?
Can I go for? I'll end it sort of sun-related. Sunday Elise, please.
Sunday Elise.
Sunday Elise. Okay. What do you say, Spencer?
Against the Welsh legend Clayton Blackmore.
Clayton Blackmore.
Sunday Elise versus Clayton Blackmore. Here we go.
Nicest is the
Spencer?
category.
That was Pat Krause.
Pat Krause. Pat Krause. We did that last week in the nicest because of the own goal. Of course.
Yeah, he got the own goal.
Are you saying a redraw? Who's a redraw or just stays
if
in?
it comes out twice, it goes. That's the way it goes.
Okay,
so nicest is gone.
Nicest is gone forever, but it's the way we have to decide.
5-0 lads.
5-0 lads.
5-0 lads.
5-0 lads. Cheers, Spence. Thanks for turning up.
Thanks, Spencer. Thanks for turning up.
Always a pleasure, never a chore. Come on.
Well played, Ben. Speak
Well
to you next
played,
week.
Ben. Well done.
Yeah, I was on the ropes, but that was a great comeback. So happy days.
Yeah, 5-0 smashed it. Mick says this is the footballing version of Deal or No Deal. There is no basis for decision.
There is basis. There is solid basis. Maybe we need a listener sort of jury, and they're like 2 or 3 people to get in touch and be the jury. But then we have all sorts then.
The Sizzler's been in touch. I've just been pulled over by the police, been asked how much Steve Bull would be worth in today's market. Guilty. Send him down.
Send him down.
No to Baladze. This text says UC Yaskalainen was called Juicy, and the Finnish are great lovers.
Sure.
Says, how do we know?
We don't know. It's
Good
just
old Charlie,
vibes.
says Stephen. Charlie doing his Simon impression, just nodding away like he understood it. All the percentages. Anyway, what a successful bit that was. I really enjoyed it, Charlie.
Very much.
Now, the Spurs chief executive, Vino Venkatesham, has called for a complete reset at Spurs. And we will talk to Flav Bateman from the Fighting Cock podcast in just a second about that.
They came mightily close, Emmanuel, to being relegated. And as I mentioned there, 2 consecutive 17th place finishes. And he's saying, 10 to 12 of these guys can stay on. You know, we've got, in other words, we have quite a number of them that can crack on next season. Does he have those players? Does he have as many as that who could do them a job next season? I mean, how many of this group go forward long term, do you think, with De Zerbi?
Well, if you point the finger at the players, I think everyone will say this exactly the same. They don't deserve to play at Tottenham. But if you look at the whole situation, take an X-ray, you know, for the last 2-3 seasons, you realize that there is no serenity and on the bench. They have changed so many managers. And since Levy left the club last season, I think many people in the board have made so much mistakes, you know. And I think the chief executive, I can't remember his name, but I think he has to take responsibility as well. So, of course, the players have a huge responsibility because when you look at the squad, when you look at the money they have, everything, the new stadium, the fan base, I think this club should have played, you know, for European places. But if you look at the whole situation, I think for me, I don't understand what's going on at Spurs, you know, in terms of sport vision. I don't see it, you know, because when things doesn't go the way they want, they fire the manager. When they don't want this player, they take another one. That reminds me so many clubs, you know, the policy of so many clubs, and they are wrong. You have to stick with your vision. But what is the vision actually at Tottenham? There is no vision at all because the manager changed every single 3-4 months. So you have to come back on what it means, you know, to get a team, which means for me, they have to change the mentality inside the club because I don't see the same Spurs team, you know, the same club I used to see for years and years, you know.
Yeah.
The mentality for me is the worst.
And if they don't change this vision, they're looking at a third.
You can take the best player in the world if you want. Look at Manchester United. If you don't change the mentality of the team, it will never happen.
the Wheel of Football. Craig in Windsor says, wonderful game that I laughed a lot.
Good.
Ben says, if you apply to go on Deal or No Deal, you need to tell them in your application what your tactic would be. Load of pony. He says, what are your tactic? I'll just open the boxes and hope I get the right one. What possible tactic could there be in Deal or No? I think didn't Adam and Joe years ago cut down Deal or No Deal just to the bits that matter, and the show lasted about 18 seconds.
Oh, did it? Yeah.
It was box one, ding, ding, ding. But I used to love watching that.
So
back in
don't
the
underestimate Edmonds.
No, well, absolutely, of course I wouldn't. Dave says, please get Max a higher chair. I can only see him from the nose upwards. Yeah, I get messages from management saying, sit up.
Sit up, Max.
I don't want to sit up. It's, like I'll sit on a cushion. I'll concentrate, Dave, to so you can see my entire head if you're watching on YouTube. Let's do some Spurs.
Yes, please.
The chief executive, Vinay Venkatesham, did an hour-long interview with the BBC, said a lot of things and said the club need a total reset. Let's talk to Flav Bateman from the Fighting Cock podcast about this. Hey, Flav.
Hello, how you doing?
Yeah, good, thanks,
Yeah, good,
Flav.
thanks. I wonder... there's been a lot of chat about Tottenham and the mistakes that they've made. They've come 17th 2 years running. It's a massive relief that they've stayed up, personally. But do you think that Venkatesham and Johan Langer as well, hold some responsibility here, and perhaps people above them should be moving them on? Or do you think now you've got a manager in place, you've got a system in place, and let's just take a breath?
I think the desire from a lot of Spurs fans is that certainly Langer should be chopped. If you're the sporting director of a club the size of Tottenham and we finished 17th twice on the bounce under your watch, then you have to hold some responsibility. But there is something to be said with the fact that De Zerbi's coming in, if he's happy to work with Langer, given and De Zerbi's given sort of freedom to implement the changes he wants to on a playing level, then maybe it wouldn't be necessary. But I'd say overall, Spurs fans, they want Langer out. With Venkatesham, though, for me, I find it's a little bit more. It's not as straightforward. I mean, he is the CEO, and his job is essentially to do what Daniel Levy did, or to take on some of the responsibilities that Daniel Levy used to hold. And a lot of his job isn't necessarily about the men's first team. It's sort of very sort of broad over the whole of the club, including the women's team and other bits and pieces. So I don't think taking Venkatesham out of the current situation would help. But bringing in a new sporting director that can really work with De Zerbi and be aggressive in getting transfers in, that would probably be preferable. But we have been quite, without actually doing anything. The news is coming out that we've been quite active in the since the end of the season. So we'll see.
Yeah, I had a message from a listener. I can't remember if it was on a podcast or the radio, just saying, I feel bizarrely overconfident with De Zerbi. Will I never learn? Again, the optimism just comes. You can't help yourself.
I think he's the right man. I do think he's the right man to oversee a reset. What does a reset look like, Flav? Does anyone from the spine sort of carry on?
No, I think there are a few players that definitely be on their way out. If a reset is about kind of rebuilding the squad, then there are a few players that would be on their way out. But really, I don't think the squad is awful. I actually think if they were all fit, we've got a squad that's easily capable of finishing the top 8. And most clubs in the Premier League have really good footballers. I know that's such an obvious thing to say. It's generally the messaging and the culture created by the manager that really gets the best out of these players. Like if you look at Bournemouth, they had their entire back line ripped out. They lost their keeper to Arsenal. They lost Semenyo in January, and Areola made them one of the best teams in the league, regardless of all of that. So it's really about the coach. So towards the end of the season, I was starting to think, this is starting to look good, but if we go down, everything's ruined. But if we stay up, what could be? And we don't learn our lessons, because I've thought that a million times, and half of those times it's ended up terribly.
Yeah.
You got to believe.
Do need a midfielder who can pass the ball, don't they?
Yeah.
I mean, I know Maddison, if Maddison is fit, when Simmons comes back, I mean, I don't know if you play them both together, but that changes the creativity. But for so much of this season, just this inability to pass the ball from midfield and the inability of anyone up front to make it stick seemed a big footballing problem to me.
Well, therein lies the problem with Langer, right? Because he built this squad, and he built a lot of midfielders that can do a lot of the same things really well. And the other things we need, like progressive passing and being comfortable taking the ball in, being press resistant, weren't there in the signings of Gallagher and certainly Paulinho. you could be more kind to Gray and Berval because they're so young and they've got to build into the league. But yeah, typically the profile of player we bought it's lopsided. We've got so many players that can do one thing well. And like you say, so if we're really, I mean, people are going to laugh at this, but this is the type of player we need to be looking at if we're really thinking about this rebuild and changing the way Spurs operate in the transfer market. It's being super aggressive to go after Adam Wharton or a player of his ilk. Now, he should definitely be playing in Champions League football. Like, he's that good. He should be on the plane with England, in my opinion. If Spurs can steal a march on everybody else and go, because he's exactly the profile we need, and go and get him, then that will prove that the Lewis family's words in their statement they published earlier, and Peter Charrington, our chairman's statement of a couple of days ago, that things are going to change at Tottenham. They need to prove it, and going after someone who might seemingly be ungettable and then getting them, that would be a major statement.
But they went after Eze, didn't they? And then they went after Morgan Gibbs-White, and both those were nearly over the line, and then they weren't over the line, and then that all fell apart as well, didn't it? So, yeah, I suppose to really show what you're doing, then you need to get someone over the line. Jed Spence is on the plane. Were you shocked at that?
No, I mean, no, fair play to him. I think a lot of people were shocked at that, especially because of Lewis Hall has, played very well, and is a sort of, he's a dyed-in-the-wall left-back, whereas Jed Spence is more of a auxiliary left-back, but he'll play there if you want him to. So I was surprised, but there is a little bit of a utility player in Jed Spence in that he can play in forward positions, he can play left-back, right-back, he's even played centre-back for Spurs. And I just think in terms of, Tuchel's probably looking at him as a utility man who can fill roles for him, whereas Lewis Hall can play left-back, and pretty much that's it. And the likelihood is that O'Reilly's going to be starting every game anyway, so it wasn't that big of a shock. But I appreciate how it landed. But yeah, fair play to him, because his journey with Tottenham has been incredible in terms of being just really cast to the side, and to the point now where he's made the England squad and he's going to the World Cup. It's a wonderful story.
And finally, Flav, we should ask you, you may have had this conversation on talkSPORT already, but just the moment when Tottenham were definitely safe, and because it wasn't that stressful until the injury time and the Kingsky save, or maybe it was stressful for you, I don't know, but just
definitely stressful.
That afternoon was like,
the afternoon was horrendous. I never want to experience that ever again. Like, I can't be the game against. When we wanted to lose against City so that Arsenal didn't win the league, that was bad. This was awful. And, I used to give it like the big and saying I'd rather go down and Arsenal win the league. Nonsense. When you're faced with the reality of being relegated from the Premier League, it is horrendous. So I never want to go through that again. I was safe. I felt like we were safe when the referee blew the final whistle. Then I felt we were safe. That was it. It was horrible, horrible game of football.
My dad is a big Spurs fan. Obviously, they are my big team who win things.
Yeah.
And you have to be. I thought if you're 4-0 up, I can relax. But until then, I'm just not. You just never quite know. And if Kingsey hasn't made that save, and a brilliant end of. I mean, he was like really key. I wonder if he's good enough to be the number one there, because I see the rumors about Verbruggen, and every time I watch Verbruggen, he just runs out of his goal about 100 yards. I mean, I sort of feel Kingsey might be a better bet.
I think compared to, again, another sort of redemption arc we didn't see happening. In Madrid against Atleti, it looked like he would never play football again. Maybe not even play football, certainly at Tottenham. And for him to be, I would say without him we would have been relegated. He's made 2 or 3 massive saves, and yeah, I mean, like I'm with you. I think he solves a problem. And we didn't realise that he would be able to. So we perhaps don't have to drop 30 million, 40 million pound on a goalkeeper, because I think he's good enough. He was marvellous. He was fantastic.
Yeah, really good. Thank you, Flav. Thanks for coming on.
Flav.
No, welcome. Thank you.
Flav Bateman there from the Fighting Cock podcast. It is Max and Charlie with you on talkSPORT. The latest talkSPORT Daily on how Spurs can rebuild for next season. Ollie Klink joined by Ricky Sachs to discuss who's to blame, who stays, who goes, and whether Tottenham need a few signings or a total reset. The talkSPORT Daily available on all podcast platforms now.
Now, Simon, you're going to enjoy this. Producer Luke from the other side of the glass, come on through. Ladies and gentlemen, Simon and I often talk about producer Luke. Here is the show coming around to you.
Can you just say your name, what you do in your life, and everything?
Tell us about the best.
Listen, I am. You did say if we win it, I've got to come in and apologise. So I'm doing that. I'm holding my word. So. Manu, I'm sorry. I'm on the Arsenal. There you go.
Don't be sorry to me. Be sorry to the Arsenal fans everywhere in the world.
Me and every other Arsenal fan. We're all losing faith. You too as well.
Good man. Good man.
Well done. He's a man of his word, which counts for a lot these days.
I tried to forget this morning anyway. So.
First and foremost, on a serious note, Simon and I spoke about it last week. Obviously. What does it mean to you? I mean, how did you react in Paris?
I watched the game, every single game the last couple of weeks, and I watched the game City against Everton, and I thought after the halftime, I thought they're running the game, they're leading the score, it's over, it's gonna be until the end, and then Everton did a great second half, and they deserve to at least get a point. I thought they should have won that game, but anyway. After that game, Arsenal were champion. So I received so many text messages, that night, from people here in England, around the world.
Tell us, give us some names. Who texted you? If you can,
were right. You're 20 years waiting, it's such a long time. We deserve it. It's such a great day for Arsenal, for the club, for everyone's. But I was thinking, but how many were positive, for the last couple of months? I've heard so many critics even from the fans, from pundits, from the players, and I was thinking, hell, what's going on? Is it something against Arsenal? But
especially your mate Vieira, he's been quite negative. Even when you won it yesterday, he couldn't quite bring himself to give it all of it. Yes, of course, if they win the Champions League, they will be remembered as the biggest achievements. But not the biggest team, not the best team.
Oh, really? With Patrick having a day?
Compared to the Invincible?
Compared to you guys, or compared to the Invincibles, yeah.
Nuno Espirito Santo is staying at West Ham as they go down to the Championship. We're told minority shareholder Daniel Kretinsky had been key to that decision. Our chief football correspondent is Alex Crook.
I think Kretinsky looks at his record in the Championship, maybe looks at his record at West Ham as well, which was top 10 since Nuno came in, but ultimately not enough to save them in the Premier League, and decided that actually, rather than more managerial upheaval, let's stick with someone who's been there, got the T-shirt.
Elsewhere, Kasper Schmeichel has been forced to retire with a shoulder injury. The 39-year-old Celtic keeper hasn't played since February and says he didn't want his career to end this way. talkSPORT understands Barcelona are in touch with Newcastle about Anthony Gordon, with Bayern Munich also interested. Meanwhile, we're told Man City are hopeful of signing Elliot Anderson, who would prefer the Etihad over Old Trafford. And following the controversial stoppage of Rico Verhoeven in the 11th round of his fight with Alexander Usyk, Verhoeven's trainer, Peter Fury, has told us what happened when he approached the ref.
I said, why did you stop it? He said, well, I didn't hear the bell. And I'd done what I thought was right at the time. That's all he said.
Peter Fury says Turki Al-Sheikh has promised Verhoeven more fights. There's more at talksport.com.
Good afternoon. It is talkSPORT, the world's biggest sports radio station. Max Rush and Charlie Baker with you until 4. So the New York Knicks into the NBA Finals for the first time in 27 years. And it looks like they'll play the Oklahoma City Thunder, who need just one more win against the San Antonio Spurs to get to the finals. We can speak to a man who was drafted by the Spurs back in 2010, British basketball player Ryan Richards. Hi, Ryan. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me, guys.
You're really welcome, Ryan. He says it looks like that, but Max doesn't. You have very little knowledge of the NBA, don't you, Max?
Okay, yeah. I mean, you have to be honest about these things.
Got to be honest.
Not an expert. I remember, John Stockton, pulling the strings for the USA in the Olympics in Barcelona, but that's about it. So, Charlie, you carry on.
Well, the Spurs.
I've got some
the
questions
Spurs have probably the greatest player of a generation.
I think multiple.
In Wembanyama, he is 6'8".
7'8".
7'8". Is he 7'2"?
He's definitely not. He's closer to 7'8" than 6'8".
Is he? Okay, yeah. He's like enormous. Anyway.
Okay, big. He's big, right?
He's a big guy, and he's as good as like Steph Curry or someone who is like brilliant with their hands. Yep. He's absolutely insane. So they're a bit of a one-man team, the Spurs. Would you say that?
No, I think they're a really, really good team. I do. I know you're a Knicks fan.
Big Knicks fan. Let's go Knicks.
I mean, I was talking on the way because I know it's obviously a football show.
Well, it's a sports show.
Sports show, correct. Yeah. I mean, I would say, who would you say are the worst football fans?
Oh, I know the Knicks. I know someone who's a Knicks and an Arsenal fan. Okay. I mean, what a combination that is.
For sure.
It's unbelievable. But the Knicks fans, they've got something to celebrate. They haven't won it in 50 odd years.
Yes, in 27 years they haven't won. They haven't been to the finals, so this is for them. They still haven't won. You're definitely a Knicks fan getting excited.
Yeah.
But I think the Spurs are special. They've got a lot of young core, young talent. And Wemby, to me, is the next Michael Jordan.
He's 7'5", just been told.
There you go. There we go.
Right, okay.
So I was a bit closer, right?
You were, absolutely. I will bow to all knowledge of NBA.
Ryan, are you saying the Knicks fans are the worst?
They are awful.
For me, I think Millwall have the worst fans. And I think if Millwall and Arsenal had a baby, that would be the New York Knicks fans.
Wow.
So,
you could get drive with these sort of thoughts. I'll tell you.
Right. I mean, it's great for them. I mean, I'm happy for the Knicks. I'm happy for some
you have to be impressed with what they've done, right? They've gone 11-0, as they say, Max, in the playoffs. So they've not dropped a game in the playoffs. They've done a clean sweep against the Cavs.
The Cavs, Philly.
And the Philly 76ers. I mean, so they've not lost a game in a team that was not particularly fancied, was it? Like OG Anunoby, he's a fellow Brit, isn't he?
I mean, Jeremy Sochan is there now. People aren't hiring him because obviously he left the San Antonio Spurs and joined the Knicks. So the beautiful part about that is he's going to get a ring either way if the Spurs do get to the final.
Really?
So that's pretty cool. But no, the New York Knicks are really impressive. Mike Brown, to me, I compare him to like a Frank Lampard.
Yeah.
Where he had a team that was that wasn't great, and then he's now moved.
And he was about their fourth choice. They changed coaches last summer, Max, and Mike Brown was like about the fourth or fifth.
Exactly. And he's taken them now to the final. So it's huge for the Knicks. I mean, it's massive. The city is New York, and I think if they were to pull it off, it would be. Yeah. I don't know what to compare it to.
It's very exciting, Max. I've got, you know me. I'll tell you what, Max. I'd be the last person.
I love how you're just talking to me as if there is no audience.
Because I'm explaining to you that I am like the last person to have got involved and enjoy this sport. I went to the Madison Square Garden just on an off chance that I might enjoy it. And I'm absolutely hooked on the NBA, and especially the New York Knicks. It does coincide with their greatest run in 52 years. So it is like suddenly becoming an Arsenal fan in the last year. But it's
But you don't. I mean, as a Torquay fan, you're allowed that. I think, Charlie. You're allowed to be a glory hunter in this. Yeah. So basic question here, Ryan, which is, Knicks will play one of these teams, right? Will play either the Spurs or Oklahoma City. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay, and how many games do they play in the finals to decide who is the winner?
They get swept, but they party for months because they went to the final.
It's best of 7. It's best of 7, so you have to get to 4. Yeah,
they lose all 4.
Got it.
There's no way. If they play the Spurs, it would be a better game.
Yeah. So New York Knicks have won the Eastern Conference.
Yeah.
So it's split in half. The Eastern Conference and the Western Conference is Oklahoma versus San Antonio.
My question, Ryan, is I was just looking at your career, right? I was completely exhausted just by looking at it because you have played in, as far as I can tell, every country in the world at is your journey, which goes from Belgium to Switzerland to Austria to Iran to Dubai to China and et cetera, is that a normal basketball career for someone who is like almost at the top level of basketball?
No, it's very unique. I guess you could say I was a glory hunter a little bit, trying to win championships. But, I went all around the world. I played in different markets and I enjoyed it. I got hooked at it young. And it's opened my eyes to so much. To do something you love and get to see the world and make money from it is special. So
tell us about your NBA journey. How did that come about?
Honestly, I left the UK at 15. I went to Spain for a couple of years and I spent some time with Gran Canaria, Real Madrid. Played in a bunch of showcases, what we do now with Richards Elite, something similar, what we tried to add, and also with Reba SL. And I was spotted and I got more opportunities, and following that, I was drafted by the Spurs. Yeah.
And for how long?
So
sorry, go Max.
Yeah.
So I was going to say, when that happens, you're like, this is it, right? We're in. Or like, how many people do the Spurs draft in?
So there's 2 rounds. There's 30 picks in each round. over players get picked. And when I got drafted
across the whole NBA,
probably between 5,000 to 7,000 players every year enter the draft. Funnily now, only 75 entered because of the whole model of NCAA basketball has changed, but that's for another time. And I was lucky to have my name called. A kid from Sittingbourne, Kent, having his name called by the San Antonio Spurs. It's pretty cool. Yeah.
I mean, the level is unbelievable, right?
It's another level. I mean, the obsession, the determination, the speed, the size, the athleticism. It is different, and I think. Trying to bring that mentality of what I've seen back here to the UK for basketball is my mission.
And that's Reba SL, yeah? Tell us about the league.
Yeah, so Reba SL is a brand new basketball league in the UK, which I feel the players deserve. They deserve it. We go 16 rounds nationwide. We age anywhere from 11 to 50. But if you're 51 and can still play, you're more than welcome. We compete. We go to cities, Birmingham. We're in Manchester, London. We also go to Bristol, Nottingham, all over. We picked the top 100, and they were playing a top 100 showcase at the end of August at UEL, and we will find out who is the best of the best. So yeah, that's Reba SL.
Fantastic. Are you going to play?
No, I'm done. My days are done.
The knees gone.
Everything.
How are your knees? I was going to say, when I watch just on a random basketball court when I'm walking in a park, and I see like how you've got a twist and turn and your change of direction, which is like, it's hard enough for me playing football, but in basketball it's sort of mad how quickly you have to change direction in that sport.
Oh yeah, it's wear and tear. I think if you take care of your body, you do things right, which I did. I managed to play 19 years. It's great, but when you retire, when you finish, that's when it hits you. And it's tough. Back for me is the tricky one. I was lucky I had no lower leg injuries, but I had when I got drafted, I needed 2 surgeries on my shoulder, so that was tough. But apart from that, I've been touch wood. I've been okay.
Knicks in 6. Let's go Knicks. New York or nowhere.
Ryan, thanks for coming in. It's lovely to talk to you, and we'll chat again about your league. But appreciate it. Thank you, Ryan.
1,000,000%. Thank you, guys. Cheers.
Ryan Richards there, and yeah, when are the finals, Charlie?
Well, you've got to wait to find out who's in the final first.
Well, I know that. Yeah.
And the final start in 9 days, 8 days now.
Okay, 8 days.
And then it's best in 7, and then they clash. If it goes to 6, Senegal v France is the same day in more or less the same place as during the World Cup.
Are they going across the pitch? Senegal, France going across the pitch? Okay.
Penn Station, Madison Square Garden. So it's a nightmare. It's a pure nightmare.
It's Max and Charlie with you till 4. We'll do some Rayo Vallecano in just a second.
I don't think Roy appears to be in any mood to say he was wrong, because on his Instagram account, Keane shared a photo of a donkey with 2 lions in the background, and it had a caption of "Too much attention makes a donkey think he's a lion." So that doesn't appear to be Roy backing down, does it?
Does he have to back down then? By whose stand does he have to back down?
If you quoted somebody and you quoted them wrongly, and they hadn't said what you thought they'd said, you'd man up, wouldn't you?
Probably.
You'd front up.
Probably, because I think it would give me more strength to be right than in a different instance than being wrong and standing with it. Because if I was wrong, I still think that Fernandes is a weak leader. I think he's a good player. I think he's a good player in an average Manchester United side. And I think you'll win nothing with him of significance. And they really haven't won very much. But that doesn't alter the fact that Fernandes is, I think he's better than he was 2 or 3 years ago. I think myself and Souness used to sit on this show going, never win anything with people like Fernandes. That's not a leader. Keane's a leader. Souness was a leader. I'll have those guys all day. And yes, I know they belong to a different era and a different generation, and an era and different generation that we should long lament for, because it's brand of modern day football. And no, thank you very much.
Roy's a club legend. Yeah. Do you think he's become a bitter club legend?
No, not really. I think he's set in his ways. I think he harks back to a time when United were, as I said, strode across English football with all the swagger. And I think he doesn't like the idea of them being an also-ran. And and he's basically saying, a day of a lion or life of a lamb, whatever it is. They're lambs. They're lambs. This Man United guys. They can't even breathe the same rarefied air as the Man United teams of the previous. So I think there's an element of that. I think people look at things and go, like I do sometimes. Look at people going, how have you got? I hate people getting rewarded for mediocrity. I hate people getting things they don't really merit. And today's society hands it to them and lionises people. And I think Roy's a little bit like that. Now, I think it would be better for him to go, you know what? It's a strength to turn around and go, on this instance, I got it wrong, but I still think you're a flake. I'd take that from him. So he should, but he won't. And that's part of the appeal of Roy Keane, that he will stand. You can listen to the other ones, like Ian Wright, that never say anything about anything, or you can listen to Roy Keane. I love Roy Keane all day. I love him all day, and every now and again, he'll say something that he shouldn't say, or won't row back from something he has said. And you can draw your own opinion on him, and you can conclude that might be a limitation of Roy, and he should do this. Who says he should? We?
Get ready to get the ultimate football fan winning feeling with talkSPORT Win.
Yeah, listen up. We're into the final week. I just presume you hope listeners are doing that anyway. With the 2026 FIFA World Cup almost here, thanks to Adidas, the tournament's official match ball supplier. talkSPORT is sending you and a friend to Dallas, Texas. You could be at England's first game against Croatia on the 17th of June with return flights, accommodation, spending money, tickets, and the official Adidas match ball, the Trionder. All thrown in, ready to get that winning feeling. Here's Charlie to tell you how to enter.
For your chance to win, head to talkSPORT Win or text WIN to 83338. Text and online entries cost £2.50 plus your standard network rate, or call 0343 418 7260. Entries must be in by 4 p.m. on Monday, and that's when you'll need to answer your phone if it rings. 18 plus, UK residents only. This is a talkSPORT promotion. Full T's and C's at talksportwin.com. For your chance to win, text WIN to 83338 now.
Yeah, good luck. Paul in Kent says, listening to Charlie shout over everyone on the subject of the NBA like an excited child. It was good fun. It was like he was a PR.
Explaining it to people.
Does the NBA need a PR man? There
you know
what?
Are. My only problem with it is, they play 86 or something regular season games, a lot. but none of it, Matt. Only one person wins anything. Everyone else is just that's it.
You want more cups?
There is a cup. They've only just introduced a cup, and the Knicks won that, right? But no one wins anything. There's only one team who wins anything every single year.
Okay, well, that's the pressure. Anyway, let's talk about Rayo Vallecano. They play Palace tonight. It's live on talkSPORT in the Conference League final. Spanish football expert, former Spurs and Wimbledon centre forward Terry Gibson joins us. Hey, Terry.
Next, Charlie. Very well, thank you.
It's a great story. Tell us the Vallecano story, please.
It's such a small club. I mean, it's a 14,000 capacity stadium, which only has 3 stands. Behind the goal is just a big, massive wooden hoarding. And there's a block of flats behind the goal, which you do see spectators on the balconies really overlooking the pitch. They're right behind the goal. They're not in the distance. And it's almost the most popular second club for everybody in Spain. Mm-hmm. Everyone has a soft spot for Rayo Vallecano. They've been up and down the leagues. But in the last decades, they've really given a good portrait of themselves as a club, mainly because of the fans and because someone has had the intelligence to appoint really good coaches. And therefore, they don't spend money. I think they spent 5 million last summer on one player. The rest of the players were free transfers and loans. And they're a really popular club in Spain. So I think it's one of those rare occasions where the whole of Spain will actually be cheering on Rayo Vallecano in this game this evening.
What chance do you give them?
Oh, every chance. Yep, I think I make them slight underdogs. They finished 8th in La Liga. They're approaching nearly 60 games this season. Their squad isn't massive. And compare that to Palace, who have had troubles this season, probably underachieved in the Premier League, finishing 15th from 44 points, 5 less than Rayo, because of the extra games in Europe. But Rayo have managed to achieve it quite comfortably, not getting to the final, of course, but as I say, to almost qualify for Europe again. And they are underdogs, but I've tried to describe them to people. Inigo Perez is the manager. He was assistant manager to Andoni Iraola at Rayo Vallecano, went with him to Bournemouth, was there about 6 months, couldn't get a work permit to stay there. The job came back up at Rayo. He went back there and became manager. They are peas in the pod. So Bournemouth, Rayo are just like Bournemouth. Everybody has to work really hard. They being an athlete and running around and working hard and having that intensity and desire is a must to play for Rayo Vallecano. So with the Palace will see tonight that they'll be playing a team that are good in possession of the ball. They're direct in terms of playing the ball forward quickly. But when Palace have possession, I expect to see Rayo Vallecano roaring around the pitch, trying to win the ball back quickly and playing fast counter-attacking football. So he's a fantastic coach. It's his last game as well. He's going to be taking over at Villarreal. So it just goes to show how well he's done on such a limited budget. First season qualifying for Europe, second season getting to the final of the European Conference League. So they're a good team. You know, they always give Barcelona, Real Madrid, Atletico Madrid a tough game. So I expect the same tonight against Crystal Palace.
Am I right saying the owner is trying to move their ground? So he's sort of letting it run down their ground till it's not fit for purpose so he can move on. Is that right, Terry?
It is, yes. In fact, this season, Charlie, they had to cancel a home match against Atletico Madrid, which is a big game for Rayo at home, a Madrid derby. They had to cancel it at the request of the players, who made an official complaint to La Liga about the facilities at the ground and the state of the playing surface. So they tried to repair it during that week to no avail. They had to then go and play at Leganés. The players also complained about the facilities at the training ground. So they had to spend some time this season using Getafe's training ground, sharing it, because their facilities weren't up to scratch. Right. So the idea from the president is that he wants to move the club to a different part of Madrid, the outskirts of Madrid, something similar to Getafe, make money from selling the lands where the current stadium is, and it's not happening. So it's the only thing I would say is he keeps appointing good managers, which don't help his cause because they keep doing
and presumably
well.
the fans are, but do the fans hate him? Because presumably the fans love where they are, right?
Yeah, it's the soul of the club. It's the part of Madrid where they're from, which is it's their identity. So they don't want to move. They don't want to leave. They don't expect to ever get 30, 40,000 for games at home. They're happy with their lot. They would like another stand. That would be ideal to have 4 stands. But no, they are passionate. We've seen protests for years now where they they don't come into the stadium until 10 minutes after kick-off. Then the ground is bursting at the seams again. So they've tried every way possible. This is a club that don't allow you to buy tickets online. This is like going back to the 1970s.
It's amazing. Cash only.
I love it.
Cash
Three
only.
nights this week, people have been, or during the sale of the cup final tickets, people were
Amazing.
spending 3 nights sleeping on the street in the queue to get tickets for this match. You can't buy the shirt online. You have to go and queue up in the shop, and it is literally one person in and one person out, and it's never open. So it's bizarre, and yet the players
They
and
should
the
move
manager...
to Shoreditch. They'd love that. The hipsters would love that.
I remember thinking about it when I was a kid, so it's a long time ago. Do I go and queue up overnight for Spurs tickets when I was about 14? Not that my mum and dad would have let me, but I did consider it. But now you're looking at it and thinking that surely the club just
To
hasn't
finish
moved
8th
on.
in
And
La
it makes
Liga.
it kind of fun in the end.
It's amazing. Finish 8th in La Liga with that kind of, just one person in it, not selling anything online in the shop, not selling. It's sort of insane. Like we're worrying about sporting directors doing this and blah blah blah.
They call it the Rayo
sort
Superstore. It literally is 10 foot by 10 foot.
Yeah, great.
That is so good. It's amazing. Well, thank you, Terry. Appreciate your time as always.
Thanks, Charlie. Anytime, pleasure.
Good stuff. Terry Gibson there. Commentary of that game. That's mad, isn't it?
I love it.
Totally amazing.
I love that still exists. That people can still run football clubs like that.
Yeah. Although he is trying to run the place into the ground.
Yeah,
and
but
move
not
it to
that
make a
bit.
packet,
Not that bit of it. But the fact you
the
have to
other
queue up for. Did your mum and dad ever queue up for a Cambridge United ticket for you, Max, when you were growing up?
You didn't really need to queue up for them.
Not even for like
being
if you
honest.
had a cup tie or anything like that.
No, I had a season ticket, so I would have had a ticket. But my dad did once ring up before the Crystal Palace quarter-final in 1990, where we should have beaten them, and Jeff Thomas mishit a shot for a 1-0 win. Before they went to beat Liverpool and the Ian Wright final against Man United, he rang up the club and said, "I haven't got a ticket." And I've been supporting the U's for years and years. And they went, "Oh, we'll find you one." And they put him in the press box next to Trevor Brooking.
Wow.
And he was reading Plato's Republic, of course. He took a book with him just in case. So I have a signed copy of Plato's Republic that says, "Dear Max, all the best, Trevor Brooking."
Fantastic.
Nice.
I like
anyway,
that.
2-word phone-in coming up.
Oh, yes.
Here's the question for today's 2-word phone-in. What's the best Palace they're playing tonight? Or Crystal Palace are playing tonight. I can't give you any. I don't want to sway you anyway. But what's the best Palace? 03717 223344. 2 words.
Calls
or never
only.
call again. Calls only. No texts. 03717 223344. What's the best Palace? Call us immediately.
Let's get back to some calls. Go to Darren. He's a Spurs fan. All right, Daz?
All right, Daz.
Hi.
How are you, Daz?
Relieved. I'm not celebrating like some of the fans that have come on from Spurs. I think they're ridiculous. The only thing I did when the whistle went, I turned to my mates who I go with every time, and we said we're relieved, and we walked out the stadium because we just had enough. And the way fans are behaving, and calling out Chelsea, that's ridiculous. We finished 17th. They finished
10th. Yeah, they won nothing.
Hang on a minute.
They won nothing, though.
So did we.
Yeah, exactly.
We won nothing.
Exactly. Yeah, but we're a disgrace, and so are they.
Yeah, but we are more of a disgrace. And the way Tottenham fans are behaving is ridiculous.
I agree with him.
Well, you will agree with him.
No, you're speaking. He's the first one that's phoned up talking any sense.
Dazza,
right?
It's a shocking season, but it's over. It's over. Season's over. We're up. Cheer up.
It's over. It's an embarrassment. What do you think people like Glenn Hoddle look when they look at that side?
I know. Well, they've got to sort it out, haven't they?
Legends of the club.
Well, they've got to sort it out, though, Daz, haven't they? Got to start again.
Yeah, they've got to sort it out, but there's no good when fans are turning around like we've won a cup. It's ridiculous.
The stayed-up trophy.
Good trophy, that, though, Daz.
The inaugural. Well done.
Mate, it's good trophy, that. The staying up
yeah,
cup.
It should be a toilet bowl. It should be a toilet bowl because that's what it was. It was toilet. It was. They should have stayed in the toilet where most of those players came from.
Holding up a toilet. Silver toilet.
That's a good trophy, that.
Holding that up.
I want to get a picture of that.
Yeah.
Holding
Someone will AI that.
Staying up trophy.
Someone will AI that and send it to us, mate.
Yeah. It's unbelievable stuff.
Yeah.
Listen, Daz, enjoy it, mate. It's up. It's over. We can all relax now. Got the World Cup coming up.
He's the only one under a rock.
Just relax.
The only one. The only one that's got any. Only one that's got anything about him. Only Spurs fan today.
Two-word phone in then, please. 03717 223344. What's the best Palace? 2 words or never call again. It's Max Rushden and Charlie Baker. With you until 4. Let's get the sports headlines just on 3 with Matt Hutchinson.
Talk Sport.
Thanks, Max. Good afternoon. West Ham fans have told talkSPORT they're happy Nuno is staying, and not just for footballing reasons.
His voice is just so soothing. I close my eyes and I just melt away.
We're going to replace him with Scott Parker, who's up and down more than a yo-yo.
I don't think Nuno would have stayed if there wasn't a bit of a plan either.
The club's hierarchy have also vowed to repair their relationship with the supporters. Simon Jordan says it should be salvageable, but reckons it's actually unlikely in the cold light of day.
They'll never forgive them for the stadium. They'll never forgive them for every misstep, whether it's selling Dimitri Payet and buying Robert Snodgrass, or whether it's telling people they're going to do this and the other, and the stadium's going to be fit for purpose, and it's not fit for purpose in people's minds.
Well, tensions are also simmering in North London, with Tottenham's owners releasing a public apology to their fans after almost getting relegated. The Lewis family say they're committed to a complete reset, but won't be selling the club. South of the river, Palace legend Roy Hodgson has been looking ahead to their date with destiny tonight.
I think they're probably a better team than Rayo Vallecano, so maybe the odds are in their favour, but it will be an incredible feather in the cap of Crystal Palace Football Club to have a European trophy.
We'll have live commentary, of course, right here on talkSPORT. Some transfer news now. We understand Man United are close to agreeing a £38 million deal for Atalanta midfielder Ederson. Meanwhile, we're also being told Barcelona have joined the race to sign Anthony Gordon, with the winger keen on that move. And Kasper Schmeichel says he's grateful for the opportunities football has given him after announcing his retirement because of a shoulder injury. The 39-year-old bagged 120 caps for Denmark and won the Premier League, FA Cup and Scottish Premiership.
talkSPORT News.
A body's been found in the search for a missing 17-year-old boy in Cheshire, and Iran says it's received a draft framework for a possible deal with the US aimed at ending the war there. More news with Emma in half an hour.
talkSPORT weather with QuickFit. The weather's hotter than a barbecue on a bank holiday. So score an aircon recharge at your local QuickFit. Visit quickfit.com and book today.
We're expecting plenty of sunshine over the next few hours, with some cloud in Scotland and northern England. Thunderstorms are possible, though, in Wales and southwest England.
What's the best goal, Andy?
Josimar.
Oh, lovely. Just one word needed.
Canio!
Ian is a Man City fan. What's the best year, Ian?
2012, Aguero!
Oh, never call again. Too many words. Don't use your phone again. Michael, throw your SIM card out of your phone. Throw it out the window. Drive over
Burn your phone. Burn it.
Michael, as a Preston fan, what's the best goal?
Poppycock.
What a great phone-in.
Phone-in.
Here we go then. Crystal Palace take on Rayo Vallecano in the Conference League final tonight, live on talkSPORT. But what is the best Palace? 2 words or never call again. Martin's an Arsenal fan. Martin, what's the best Palace?
Gary Pallister.
Oh, lovely.
Close
good stuff there.
Pretty good, yeah. Good
Steve
shout.
is a Tottenham fan. What's the best Palace?
Castle Grayskull.
It is. I have the power. Very good.
Castle Palace. I get one. We guess we'll take it.
Castle. Is it Castle of Palace? 1089.
Craig is a Manchester United fan. What's the best palace?
China Palace.
China Palace. I'm assuming that's a restaurant near you, is it?
Yeah, could be. Yeah, likely. Yeah. Scott's a Forest fan. What's the best palace?
Chicken Palace.
Chicken Palace.
Again, another restaurant.
Patrick's a Villa fan. Here we go, Patrick. What's the best palace?
Misha Paris.
Misha. I'm pleased.
Luke's a Fulham fan. What's the best palace, Luke?
Oh, I was going Gary Pallister as well.
Oh, too many words. Never call again.
I was going to go,
Never
yeah.
call
Tom's a Man United
again.
fan. What's the best palace?
Paravel.
Sometimes I don't know what they are, Charlie.
I'm trying to get
smart. Am I clever enough? What have they?
Palace.
What have they done? This? Danny's a West Ham fan. What's the best palace?
Palace Chippy.
Palace Chippy.
Palace Chippy.
Yeah, why not? A lot of restaurants
There we
coming
go.
in.
What a good phone. I enjoyed the phone.
That was the phone. Great phone in.
Yeah, that's good.
The phone in. Use your phone. Ring the phone. It's the telephone. Time for a phone call. Ring, ring, ring. Hyperbole. Intrigue. 2 words. Thoughts. Consideration. It's your time to shine. People saying their thing. Get on with it. You on the radio. Imagine that.
And now no Andy Goldstein on drive today because he's taking part in the UK Open Pool Championships.
Oh, he's good at that.
And yeah, it's his second match of the day. Hey Andy, how you going?
Hello, Andy.
I'm good. I've got a Palace for you that I reckon no one said yet.
Yep.
Palace did a collaboration with UGG boots there. I've got a pair of slippers myself. They're amazing. That's my one.
Crystal Palace UGG boots.
Crystal Palace UGG boots.
No, not Crystal Palace. No, just Palace.
Oh, Palace. Oh, is
Just
that
Palace.
that's a fashion brand, is it?
Is that a make of? Is that a fancy brand, Andy?
Yeah, fancier than me.
Really fancy, Max. Really fancy, yeah.
I picked up some trousers from Savers for $16 today. Really good. And actually, they're as new. You wouldn't believe it. Anyway, so this is your second match of the day. Does that mean you won the first match, Andy? How good are you at pool?
He's very good.
Well, if you'd have watched this morning, you'd have thought he's not very good. I lost 9-3. I was, I think, 7-0 down. I was quite terrible this morning. Yeah, it was really bad. I missed some balls that were just, I mean, my dog, Dr. Scoot Frank, would have put them. They were terrible. But all is not lost because the bigger game, the proper game, the big one, is coming up at 4:30, which of course will be live on Drive. That's the one that really counts, apparently.
Okay, and who are you playing?
Who are you playing?
It's a very good question. I'm playing my opponent.
Yeah, very good. Or you're playing yourself, playing your own head, Andy, because that's what can happen sometimes, isn't it, in pool? You took yourself out of the pots.
Yeah, do you know what, Charlie? I'd love to be able to stand here and say the reason I lost this morning was because of the table, was because I felt pressure.
Yeah.
But it was none of them. It was just because I was awful. That's the reason I lost. There's no one to blame but myself. Nothing got into my head. The table was great. The cue was good. The balls were moving. Absolutely great. I was just appalling. I have nothing to blame it on.
Forgive me, is this the national championships, Andy?
It's not, Max. No, I don't even think there is anything called the national championships unless you're 9 and a BMXer. This is the UK Open live at Brentwood.
Right, but I mean, this is. I mean, I'm not trying. I'm just trying to work out. Like, this is. You are really good at this, Andy. I didn't realise you were sort of. This is elite pool.
So yeah, I used to be an 8-ball professional when I was 21, 22. You know the pool you get in your pub, reds and yellows, and then the black. I used to be a professional in my early 20s, and I was okay. I was all right, nothing great. But I always wanted to be a snooker player, but I wasn't good enough. So 9-ball pool has given me the opportunity to play on the main table, have people watching, and experience what it's like to play on the biggest stage. And so that's why when Matchroom very kindly invited me to play these open events, I played in the US Open, I played in the Florida Open, and this is my second appearance in the UK. And the last time I played in one of these was in America, and I won 2 matches. Like the first time I'd ever won a game of pool, I won 2 games back to back. And for me personally, like all jokes aside, I always wanted to play snooker, but I wasn't good enough. And so I was on the other end of the mic asking the questions. So for me to win a proper match and then have someone stand in front of me and interview me, it was like it was the greatest experiences of my life. It was, you can't buy that. No matter how much money you got in the world, you have to earn that, and that's why it was just so great. So when Matchroom said, "Do you want to come back and play in the UK Open?" I was like, "I'd love to come back and play." So my next big, it's live, by the way. It's live on the talkSPORT YouTube channel. I know Benny's going to keep everyone up to date. I'll be on the match table from about 3:45. The match will last about, give or take, about 90 minutes, but 3:45 is when I'll be playing.
Good stuff. What's the sign, Andy, when you're playing in the pub or playing a mate, or you're playing a stranger? What's the sign that someone's good at pool?
Usually the sign is they pop more balls.
Yeah, I know that side of it. But I'm just saying, is there a tell? That they really know what they're doing.
I think the way they address the cue ball, the way they stance, just the way they hit the ball. If they're playing positions, if they're and then get into the next ball by doing something with the cue, it looks a bit fancy. They know what they're doing.
Good
well, look, good luck, Andy.
Wishing you luck, Andy. Hoping you win.
Yeah, I hope it goes well, pal. Andy Goldstein
you.
there, live on the talkSPORT YouTube channel. That does sound great, actually. Getting to live your dreams, eh? Scott says, typical lefty bragging about buying clothes from Safers.
£15 trousers. That's you can't.
Tom, the Man United fan, sounds like you were confused. It's the Palace in Narnia was the one that he was talking about. So it just shows that we're not as culturally
not well read enough.
No, we're not. We're not. So our apologies to who wrote C.S. Lewis. Our apologies to C.S. Lewis. But there we are. Cole's been into. I got some criticism.
Okay.
It's only fair to read that out. Listening here in the USA with 3 Americans. Max, please never talk about basketball. That was painful. You are really not helping with stereotypes.
I disagree, Max, because some people, it might be their day one on basketball. You're asking the questions at day one to get them into basketball,
Yeah. I do know what it is. I understand the principle of basketball. But
I think I once asked, do you think people will ever get tall enough that they will have to make the nets even higher? Because they'll just be able to put them in. I think we're going to get there eventually. People are getting bigger.
Is that right? Is that right?
The nets will have to be higher one day.
How long do you think it'll take?
Another 100
for the average
years.
Human?
Another 100 years, I reckon.
What, you think there'll be 8 foot? People would generally be 8 foot tall.
Because if tall
Am I
people,
suddenly doing a show with Mike Parry?
If tall people have children together, do people get progressively taller? Is that how it works, Max? Genetically?
I don't know. I don't know the answer to this.
If someone 7'5" has a baby with someone 7'5",
they are 15 foot. They double.
I don't think it's 15 foot.
That's how it works. Is I'm 6 foot, just over 6 foot. My wife Jamie is about 5'10".
Yeah.
So our children will be 11 foot 10.
I don't think it works like that. I'm not stupid, Max. I'm 50 for goodness sake. I'm not an idiot.
George Ellick is the host of the England Pod. It is a good podcast talking about England, and he will join us next.
Whenever we've talked about potential England players for the World Cup, your name is always mentioned of players that we both think should be going. It's not just me and Ben, it's the listener as well. So I'm guessing you would have felt you'd done enough this season to have gone. How did you find out you weren't going? When did you get the call and what was said?
I think I got the call on the thing at Thursday, like everyone else did, whether they were going or not. A good honest conversation. he just said, I think I've got people ahead of you right now. It's nothing to do with you. You've done everything that you could possibly do. I've really enjoyed watching you the past 6 months. Just unfortunate the way it is, and you know, I respect him as a manager. I think he's a top manager, and I really hope the boys go on to do something incredible this summer, because they truly deserve it. Even the gaffer, they truly deserve it, because he's a top guy. And I appreciated the call, because he didn't have to call me to tell me I wasn't in the squad, so I appreciate that. But for me personally, it's difficult. It's so difficult, because you try and put yourself in the best possible situation to go, and I believe I did. But I think the game's all about opinions. I mean, you guys on the show, it's all opinions. Some are wrong, some are good, some are bad. And I've been on a lot of people's wrong opinions in my career so far, and I've always got over them hurdles and bounced back from it. So this is just another hurdle, another thing to bounce back from.
So I was going to say, so how difficult was it to take? Because again, me and Andy talk about it all the time, and I've been there, where you almost convince yourself that you've played well enough, so you're going to be going. And when that call comes that you're not going, that initial thought process that went through your head, was you almost like you in shock, or did part of you think it was coming?
No, I kind of, going into it, I kind of expected the worst.
Yeah.
I always expect the worst in them sort of situations, just so that when it does come, I'm not that disheartened.
Of course.
Obviously, when you find out the news, you're disheartened no matter what. But yeah, you as a football player, you try so hard for these moments, because they're
Wes has been in touch to say, you two make me laugh. You're like children. Haribo FM, brilliant.
I'll have you know, Wes, I'm a 50-year-old man.
Roberto says, you live in Australia, but your skin is terrible, Max. That's a bit harsh, isn't it? But you can see us.
It's the light, isn't it? It's the light.
I think it's okay.
Look, other shows wear makeup. Me and Max keep it real.
I have a makeup artist here.
The only makeup-free show on talkSPORT.
No, I employ one. It just they're just down
it's a bad one.
Yeah. I employ a really terrible makeup artist, 24/7, even when I'm not doing these shows. Anyway, it's Max and Charlie with you on Drive. No, we're not doing Drive. That's all right.
Wow.
Let's let the cat out of the bag there. I hope Andy stopped listening. Oops. There we go. Anyway, with you until 4 on talkSPORT. Let's do some World Cup stuff. You might know George Ellick from the Not the Top 20 podcast, but in the EFL podcast has another podcast called the England podcast. He joins us now. Hey, George.
Well done, George.
Hello, Max. Hi, Charlie. How you doing?
Very good.
Yeah, good. Tell us about the England pod. I mean, it sort of is probably self-explanatory, I imagine, George. But
we thought of like loads of really clever names that were kind of around previous goals and stuff. Then we thought, actually, we'll just call it the England pod, and then everyone know what we are. It's me, Andy Maxwell, and Dave Walker, and we are England fans trying to provide a bit of calm in the chaos, maybe, because sometimes being an England fan seems like a chore, but we're here to tell you that it can be fun, and not everything is as bad as it sometimes seems to be. So we're going to be out in America for the group stages, doing daily podcasts when we're out there too. So make sure, if you're interested in England and you want to get involved, please do subscribe and listen.
I've gone from being convinced we're going to win it.
Yeah.
to go. Nothing to do with the squad selection. I quite like the squad selection. I agree with what Thomas is doing. To thinking it's too hot. Argentina are going to win it. Am I right, George?
I think the heat is definitely going to be quite a big deal and probably not ideal for us. You look back at the Club World Cup, and even though Chelsea won it, the heat was ridiculous there. You had Brazilian teams who everyone thought was going to be terrible actually turned out to be quite good. We are going to be playing in incredibly hot conditions. The fact that our camp is in Kansas City and the pre-tournament friendlies against New Zealand and Costa Rica are going to be in Florida suggests to me that they're quite keen to get into that heat pretty quickly. But if I, as just a spectator who's going to be there for 2.5 weeks, I'm already pretty scared about the heat. So I can't really imagine how it's going to be for our players because, it doesn't feel like we have the same experience in terms of playing in that heat as Brazil, Argentina, although Ivan Toney, he's been playing in Saudi Arabia and it's pretty hot there. So maybe that's why Tuchel included him.
Yeah. What did you make of, obviously, whenever a squad is announced, there's sort of fury and about it, and this was no different. But what do you make of it?
I think if any England fan had basically listed the 16, 17 players we thought would play the most in the World Cup, they're all in it, maybe apart from Cole Palmer. I think that all the key names are there. It's easy to get bogged down in certain players who maybe were perceived to deserve to go. Like I can see why people think that Morgan Gibbs-White deserved to go, why Adam Wharton deserved to go, Lewis Hall. But Thomas Tuchel, he's not picking a team of the season. He's picking a squad of players that he thinks are best equipped to go and carry out the roles that he wants his players to play. He's got a very clear idea of the kind of players that he wants. He's been very explicit, not only post the squad selection, but also in every single camp around where certain players stand in the pecking order, such as Harry Maguire. Maguire was only picked that last squad, and even during that camp, Tuchel was very clear in saying that he had quite a lot of players above him in the pecking order, of whom were then picked ahead of him. So it was a surprise to see that Maguire was so surprised that he wasn't selected in it. Also, when you look at the profiles, certainly of players like Cole Palmer and Phil Foden, who they just aren't the kind of wide player that Tuchel wants in his squad. He wants players who are going to be aggressive, who can run in behind, who can get to the byline to put crosses in for Kane, but can also make those runs into the box when Kane drops deep. And instead, I've been so surprised to see some of the comments around Phil Foden's omission, not because of his form, but just because we've seen in an England shirt, when Harry Kane is playing up front, so many of Foden's strengths are kind of nullified because he can't really impact the games that he wants to. And that was back when he was playing well. So, I can understand why there are some surprises in terms of personnel, but I think Tuchel's got an idea of how he wants to play, and he's picked a squad that he thinks gives him the best chance of kind of pulling off that game plan.
When Declan Rice scores a hat-trick on Saturday night and to win the Champions League, and everyone jumps on top of him, and then everyone jumps on him and they break his arm and he's out of the World Cup. Who replaces Declan Rice? I think he's so important for this England team.
Let's really hope that doesn't happen. That would be a disaster.
It's a hypothetical. It's a hypothetical.
I really agree. It's interesting because he's always been, for England, he's been that deepest lying midfielder, which he's done very well. But I think we've seen in the last couple of seasons with Arsenal that Declan Rice is best suited to being a marauding midfielder, someone who can still, do the physical side of the game very well. But he's a brilliant footballer. He's a goal threat. He's someone that needs someone in behind him to kind of mop up and be the more defensive-minded or the deeper midfielder. And Elliot Anderson, anyone who's watched any of England's games with those two playing together, he's been the perfect foil for Rice. We've stumbled across a really good combination. Having said that, if Rice were to be injured or to be out for any reason, then it would be trouble because we don't really have a player that can replicate that kind of skill set. Kobbie Mainoo is someone who obviously gives us a really good ball carrying option in midfield. I personally would have liked to see Wharton in the squad. Like I'm frustrated for Wharton because I think he's done nothing wrong and he's a brilliant passer. And we maybe lack a passer in the middle of the park, but it's pretty clear to see that isn't really what Thomas Tuchel's looking for in those roles. Yeah. You also consider that Reece James, who is our starting right back, he is a very good centre midfielder when he plays there. Nico O'Reilly played a lot of the second half of the season in midfield for Manchester City as well, and he'd maybe be a kind of more like for like in terms of being that all-rounder midfielder who can do the defensive work and be an attacking player too. So versatility across the squad, but I hope, and Tuchel hopes, I'm sure that Declan Rice can play as many minutes as possible.
Where do you have England getting in this tournament. I mean, I've say this all the time, but it gets to around now, and we suddenly forget that all the other countries play football, and then you look at the France squad and you think France look ridiculous, you know. And then obviously we've talked about the heat already. And if you plot the route, have you plotted the route, George?
Yeah, we've literally just done a pod doing what our routes would be if we were to be top the group, come second in the group, and come third in the group. And there is quite a high likelihood that if we top the group, our round of 16 game is going to be Mexico in Mexico City with a 1 a.m. kickoff on a Monday morning, which could make the school run quite interesting for a few of us. And that's going to be really tough. You know, that would be incredibly difficult if we have to play a host nation in their country at altitude. Like it's not going to be simple. So I know that there are a lot of England fans from arguing them on Twitter over the last 10 years that say that England, anything apart from winning a tournament is a failure for England. And I totally disagree. Winning World Cups is difficult. I would say that if we managed to get to the semi-finals from here, that would seem like an incredibly good effort. But similarly, if we get knocked out in the quarters, you're probably going to be looking and thinking it was an opportunity missed, as was the case in Qatar, even though we put in one of our best performances under Southgate against France. So, semis, I think now I would take. But also we know we're good. Like we've regularly progressed to the latter stages of major tournaments. Anyone who tells you that we overplay the talent of our players, you only have to look at the kind of the world football and look at Harry Kane being one of the best goal scorers in the world, and I think the favourite at the moment for the Ballon d'Or. Declan Rice, who's the third or fourth favourite for the Ballon d'Or and has just won the Premier League and might play a key role in winning the Champions League on Saturday. Like our players are playing at the top level of football, and we are a national team with recent major tournament success falling short of winning it. And, we brought in a manager in Thomas Tuchel who's got more of a track record of winning tournaments in his career, hopefully to provide that little extra. So, at this stage, given that pretty much all the teams go through in the group stages, because 8 of the 12 third place teams go through, I think if we went out there, that would be a disaster. But after that, it's going to get difficult pretty quickly.
Good stuff, George. Thanks for coming on.
Cheers, guys. Thank you.
Thanks, George.
Have fun in the States.
If Southgate had just bought on Grealish or Foden earlier,
what are you saying?
And in that fight, the Italy, if he'd just done that, just changed it up a bit earlier.
If we just scored our penalties against Italy,
I know, but we could have won the game.
Pickford save from Jorginho. Once that happened, you thought, come on,
should have won the game in real time.
Yeah. Maybe you're right. And then Kane would have scored the penalty in Qatar. And then what happened in Spain? Oh, yeah.
When we lost to Iceland, Max.
And then
when we
shouldn't have lost to Iceland. That was bad, wasn't it? And we lost to Germany in, when was that one? 2010?
Croatia.
That was when the ball crossed the line.
We lost to Croatia.
Yeah, they should have been tired, shouldn't they?
Croatia.
Yeah. And then in 98, we were robbed there because Sol Campbell's goal should never be disallowed. So we won that one.
If Gaza had got his foot to it.
We obviously won Euro 96, 94, had we qualified, we would have won. 92, if we'd kept Lineker on, then we'd have won that one. 1990, obviously,
we more or less won that.
Basically, we just didn't realise how much we loved Stuart Pearce. If he'd known that, he'd have scored that penalty. Waddle would have scored. That's why we won 1990.
Yeah.
88, of course, if they'd just played Hoddle a bit more, we'd have won that. Maradona 86, he doesn't do that. We win that one. I could go on.
You can go on forever.
Probably enough, isn't it?
If Keegan isn't injured, we win in 82.
No, absolutely right. Yeah. It's like we've won every major tournament, England, isn't it? It's easy. It's easy. Who's joining talkSPORT for the World Cup? Kyle Walker, AJ Tracy, Fabian Hertzler, David Moyes, Emmanuel Petit, Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank, Alan Pardew, Brad Friedel, Christina Unkel, me and Charlie. talkSPORT will broadcast 104 matches taking place in America, Canada, and Mexico for the first time ever. You can listen to talkSPORT's coverage on TikTok and YouTube, and we'll do. That was an old person noise at TikTok, wasn't it?
I didn't know that. I didn't know that. Oh, TikTok, the TikTok. Who's on the TikTok now? Is you?
Do you have a TikTok?
I did have a TikTok, and then I got rid of the TikTok. Definitely on Instagram, though. Do come and find me on Instagram if you'd like to.
Okay. Yeah, I tried to do a 5-minute plank on Instagram today because Ben Elton said he does a 5-minute plank every morning.
Definitely said plank.
He told me. Yeah, yes, he did. And And if you want to hear that, you have to listen to my podcast called "What Did You Do Yesterday?" that I do with David plugging
things. I am on tour from September. If we're plugging things, I am on a national tour from September. It's called Go Get It. Playing near you, unless you live in the East for some reason. No gigs there at all.
You hate the East. We'll do Paddy's challenge in just a second.
I think from day one we were very clear that we are trying to select and build the best possible team, which is not necessarily to select and collect the 26 most talented players. Teams win championships, it's as simple as that. And what we are trying to achieve in summer can only be achieved as a team.
Is he right, Emmanuel?
I totally agree with him.
Team over talent.
You know, it's the same, when you manage a club, as a manager, the team spirit is more important than individuals. And we've seen that every single season when the team who won the big trophies, are always playing as a team, not as an individual. Individuals are very important, but for me, the team is more important than individual. So as I said before, I was quite surprised in a good way when I look at the list, from Tuchel. And I thought to myself, maybe he's copying, what happened in France a long time ago, not so far away, when Aimé Jacquet became the manager for the national team. He decided to make strong choices, strong opinions, and he was under critics. A lot of people were killing him, but I want to remind people that during the European tournament in 1996 here in England, France, we went until the semi-final. 2 years after that, we became world champion. And then 2 years after the World Cup, we became European champion. And from that, they played the final in 2016. They played the final in 2020 against Argentina, won the World Cup in Russia. The reason why I'm saying that is because when he took over, as a manager, he decided to take away, from the team, the lack of Cantona and Ginola. They were huge players. Both guys, they were huge personality, huge player on the pitch as well. They were to pick up their form, They could have done so much things, But Aimé Jacquet decided to say, no, I don't want them. The team is more important. So I would probably pick, less talented players up front, but that can fit into what I want as a team. And we became what we are actually for the last 15 years.
Nuno Espirito Santo is staying at West Ham as they go down to the Championship. We're told minority shareholder Daniel Kretinsky had been key to that decision. Our chief football correspondent is Alex Crook.
I think Kretinsky looks at his record in the Championship, maybe looks at his record at West Ham as well, which was top 10 since Nuno came in, but ultimately not enough to save them in the Premier League, and decided that actually, rather than more managerial upheaval, let's stick with someone who's been there, got the T-shirt.
Elsewhere, Kasper Schmeichel has been forced to retire with a shoulder injury. The 39-year-old Celtic keeper hasn't played since February and says he didn't want his career to end this way. talkSPORT understands Barcelona are in touch with Newcastle about Anthony Gordon, with Bayern Munich also interested. Meanwhile, we're told Man City are hopeful of signing Elliot Anderson, who would prefer the Etihad over Old Trafford. And following the controversial stoppage of Rico Verhoeven in the 11th round of his fight with Alexander Usyk, Verhoeven's trainer, Peter Fury, has told us what happened when he approached the ref.
I said, why did you stop it? He said, well, I didn't hear the bell.
and I'd done what I thought was right at the time. That's all he said.
Peter Fury says Turki Al Sheikh has promised Verhoeven more fights. There's more at talksport.com.
Challenge on talkSPORT with Hawksby and Jacobs. What critics are calling one of the many radio quiz segments happening this week. Paddy Power. 18 plus BeGambleAware.org.
I know, in Paddy's Challenge, we put our knowledge of the wonderful world of sport to the test with a chance of raising lots of cash for our nominated charities. I'm playing for the Sporting Memories Network. Charlie raising funds for the Rowcroft Hospice, helping to manage proceedings, ensure fair play. No Fletch today, so Will Hobbs gets the dream gig. Welcome, Will.
Hello, Will. Hello, guys. How are you doing?
Really well. Super. How are you?
Yeah, not bad. Or is that a wasted question on this show? Because I know, Charlie, you don't like asking how are you before an interview.
How are you? How are you?
Time
Fine, get on with it. What's the first question?
No, I disagree. I think it builds a community. It's nice to know people.
But if Will had said, not great, actually,
we'd have got into it.
That's interesting.
You can have that conversation.
That's more interesting. But the thing is, the question never gets answered honestly.
That's true.
How are you? Fine. Move on. It's a waste of time.
Yes, but I mean, there are some things that aren't necessarily for on air, are they, Charlie?
Just saying it. Will brought it up.
Okay,
that's my bad.
Did Will bring it up?
He brought it up. He just brought it up.
What's happening, Will, with this? Do you want to do the quiz?
I think we've got to crack in and crack on, Max. Let's do it. So in Paddy's Challenge, as you know, crack in, crack on.
Yeah. How are you? Absolutely fine.
You guys know how this works. Three multiple choice questions each, usually posed by the voice of Paddy Power, Alistair McGowan. Yep. If not, it's Fletch. But we're reaching into the academy today, and I'm coming off the bench. So the winner will be the player that scores the most points. Shock. And in the event of a tie, you will both win the chance to raise some cash for your charities. Last time we played, Charlie was the victor. He backed Aston Villa to beat Freiburg in the Europa League. Safe bet. And they slapped them 3-0. Of course, that's another £32.31 into the Rowcroft pot.
Do the safe bets because they come in.
And let's see.
You gamble responsibly.
If you can
Scott
raise some
says,
more
typical
money.
lefty caring about how others are feeling.
Well, I feel very welcome, Max. Not so much, Charlie. So, Max, you won the virtual toss. You will bat first.
Okay,
and Charlie will chase. So you get the first question.
Okay.
Here we go. Notts County beat Salford to secure promotion back to League One this week. Who scored the last goal for the Magpies? Is it A, Ollie Norburn, B, Alessana Jatta, or C, Jody Jones?
Jody Jones.
Yes.
1 point to Max.
He had a hell of a game.
Thank you.
Straight out the
Great
traps.
Jody Jones.
4 runs straight away. Jones, incredibly, has come back from 3 ACL injuries in his career.
Yeah.
He set up 2, he scored another to fire County back into League One for the first time in 11 years. A thrashing. Charlie, you're next. Greek sportsman Christian Golomiev, a former European champion, set a global best at the one-off Enhanced Olympics in Las Vegas last weekend. In which sport? Is it A, running, B, swimming, or C, your favourite, cycling?
I don't know the answer. I did not follow it.
Do you know what they should do, Charlie?
Follow the enhanced games. When I tuned in and they weren't slightly bigger bits of their body.
Well, they weren't buff
That's
enough
what I'd
for you.
like to see. The enhanced games, everyone in
All right.
Oh, where are we going?
I'll stop there.
Let's have an answer, maybe.
I'd like them to be. I'd like the enhanced games to be. It's not drug. It should be drugs of our choice. When you go, it's the Sudafed 110-meter hurdles.
Look how tired he is. Look how tired he is.
The paracetamol 100 meters.
Okay, let's go, guys. Here we go.
Running, swimming, or cycling?
Wouldn't be cycling's never had a drugs issue. Running, swimming.
1 point to Charlie.
Yes.
Well done, Charlie.
1-1.
Well done, Charlie.
He was the only athlete to set a new world record, but it will not be accepted by World Aquatics because he was on drugs. He did walk
because
away.
He'd grown gills and webbed feet.
The goblet of fire. Had some gillyweed beforehand, and he did walk away though with a cheeky $1.25 million.
Can whoever put cheeky in that script should be fired? Or can we never
Did you
use
say that, Will? Did you say that?
Adjective.
I think Will
ever
put that
again?
in. Was it in the script, Will?
Yeah.
It's in the script.
Not a Nando's, not an amount of money.
Okay.
It's just not.
A girl? A cheeky girl?
I'm not lembic-opic. So, anyway, carry on, Will. Come on.
Okay, 1-1. Question 3.
Max in not lembic-opic shock.
Okay.
Come on, Will.
Sports promoter Barry Hearn will don the governor's shirt once again when he competes at the UK Open Pool Championship in Brentwood this week. He became the oldest person to appear in a professional pool tournament last year. How old is Barry Hearn?
Did he qualify?
Almost like it's an open, isn't it? It's the UK Open, so it's almost like if you sponsor it or are involved at all, you just also play.
Yeah,
I don't think he went through the rounds beforehand. But is Barry Hearn A77, B81, or C79?
Everyone's interested in
79.
Everyone's interested in guessing ages. What a waste of time that is.
Well, Max is, because Max has gone 2-1 up. Barry Hearn is 77. And Barry said, I played last year in the UK Open and in the US Open. I loved every second of it. Got slaughtered. So there you go.
Right.
He'll be in it again. Can he get a win?
We've got to get it. Come on, let's get a shift on with this.
Charlie, second question. Sun Sports just revealed the Premier League table would have looked like without VAR's 102 interventions this season. What does it say the top 3 would be without VAR? So is it A, City winning, Arsenal second, United third? B, Arsenal champions, City second, Villa third? Or C, as it was, Arsenal, City, United?
A.
Yeah.
I didn't know the answer, but if there's no headline really, if Arsenal win it, is there? So.
No, true. Well, so yeah, exactly. So if VAR didn't exist or didn't intervene at all, City would be champions. Arsenal over the course of the season gained a net 5 points through overturned decisions. 2-2. Max, your question.
Okay.
Gaël Monfils, French veteran, played his last French Open match this week. In 23 years as a pro, how many titles did he win? Did he win 13, 15, or 17?
I mean, if you don't know how many titles Gaël Monfils
What are you even doing?
What are you even doing on talkSPORT? He won 13.
Pick that one out.
Very good, Max.
Yeah, of course. Who doesn't know that?
Lovely player, Gaël Monfils.
Yeah, lovely player.
70th appearance in the main draw of a Grand Slam, 19th at the French Open. He holds the record for most Slam match wins.
Yeah, we
by a
don't
male
care any
French
about
player.
this, Will. Come on, get on with
There
the
you go.
questions.
Okay, great.
Sorry to Gaël Monfils.
There's you saying it's cruel if I don't say how are you, fine, how are you, and you're going, we don't care about any of this.
The change of tone.
Your job's a waste of time.
It's a marked change of tone from Max. Okay, he is still ahead though. Fair enough. Okay, 3-2. Charlie, this to level. The New York Knicks reached the NBA Finals for the first time in 27 years. Right. A commanding 130-93 win over the Cleveland Cavaliers. They last made the finals in 1999 when they lost to which Western Conference team? Was it A, San Antonio Spurs, B, Utah Jazz, or C, the LA Lakers?
I think it was, I don't know, and there's me banging on about the damn.
You know everything.
How much I know about it all.
So there's 2 baskets. They run.
I know that. I think it was the Jazz.
Oh dear!
It was the Lakers.
Oh.
What a fool.
Max takes it. 3-2.
Yeah, thanks.
Terrible.
It came down to the wire. But you have won a free bet, free £20 bet that Paddy Power will place for you so you can try and win some cash for your charity.
Go
Max,
on then,
be?
Palace to lift the trophy, please.
Yeah.
There you go.
Lovely stuff.
That was Paddy's challenge.
Okay.
Lovely. I think you did really well, Will.
I enjoyed it, Will. Had a really pleasant time.
That's good.
We weren't giving it the seriousness that it deserved. But thank you for managing proceedings. That was this week's challenge in the book. Thanks to our friends at Paddy Power. 18+, BeGambleAware.org.
Paddy's Challenge on talkSPORT with Paddy Power. 18+, BeGambleAware.org.
You're going down next season.
No, we're not going down, mate.
You're going down, mate.
No, even you know that. Even you know that.
Well, why am I saying it?
Well, because you know that's not going to happen.
What do we know? No, I don't say things.
You know that's never going to happen. Well, we had this season was an absolute joke.
And what's going to change?
Well, everything's going to change.
Well, okay, name it.
Well, starting one with the manager. Right. The manager's come in and he's got results kept us up.
Right, okay.
He won't allow.
You said that last season.
No, we got Thomas Frank in the summer, and that was the wrong appointment. This is the right appointment.
Okay. But you said that last summer.
So everything will change.
You've got a new manager. You said that.
They won't allow that. They won't allow that to happen.
And you can't allow. You can't. You've not got a magic wand.
You can't sit there and say that Spurs are going to go down, mate.
I'm saying you now. You will be in a relegation battle this season.
Jace,
promise you.
Mate, shut up. What are you on about?
You're one of my favourites to go down.
What are you on about?
You can't just flip. Honestly, you've been in football all your life. You can't flick a switch and just think we're Spurs. You were Spurs last year, and you're Spurs this season.
Well, that's absolute garbage.
Have gone through the same thing.
Garbage.
Yeah, it's
the
worse.
Finished 17th, and then they sort themselves out.
Did you get better or worse?
What? We've got more points this season.
Did you get better or worse?
Well, technically, we got better.
Did you get better or worse?
Factually, we got better. Because we got 30. We got 38 points last season. We got 41 this season. Good season.
See, this is the
good season.
This is the arrogance and the naivety of you, and you're just Spurs, mate.
No, but listen, I'm up for a laugh. Listen, I'm all up for a laugh, right? And it has been.
You're going down next season.
Oh, we're not. Oh, Jace.
You're going down, mate.
Jace.
You're going down.
Jace. Come on, mate.
EFL Roundup. Come on, mate. It's coming. All you've done.
I know you want to keep the narrative alive, right? Just for your own little self-worth.
What do you mean self-worth?
Oh, you want to keep it alive. You keep your little EFL Roundups and keep your little Ange masks and keep all that garbage that you've done all season.
What do you mean garbage?
Load of old guff. All right, load of old guff. And it's only been good because Spurs have been crap. All right, so I know you want to keep it going, but you can't sit
24 months.
You can't sit there with a straight face and say Spurs are going to go down.
Right, next season, you're hearing this.
Get a full rundown of all the Championship's biggest teams in the Sports Bar. EFL Roundup with Jamie O'Hara on talkSPORT.
I'm going to put it out there now, right? I'm going to phone the boss. All right, I'm in the break. I'm phoning the boss, not the mid boss, the big boss. All right.
Okay.
They're getting deleted from the archive.
Oliver Glasner's the man who's come in and made it happen. He's a winner. He's a cup winner. wherever he goes.
You can be proud because you give South London residents of Crystal Palace fans, you're giving them such a great time, and the best thing you can achieve.
Forest have been in contact with UEFA to express their concern about Palace's involvement in the Europa League, and of course they stand to benefit.
Oh, is what I thought. Am I allowed to say that?
Who said it?
God. Yeah, no, I didn't. I couldn't believe it.
We just got to look positively. We're in the Conference League. You know, we're excited to be in the Conference League. We wished we'd been in the Europa League, but we've put it behind us really now.
And now they have usurped the champions to lift the Community Shield 2025 on penalties.
Crystal Palace are sort of having one of those seasons where I still think that they're going to win that Conference League.
The full-time whistle blows. Oliver Glasner has led Crystal Palace to their first ever European final.
Yeah, we had to get Kevin Day on, who's out in Leipzig ahead of this game tonight. Kev, how are
Kevin.
you?
I'm very nervous because apart from the dogs threatening me, I'm nervous about the Palace fans outside breaking into one of the more rude songs that they've been singing. So you might need some kind of button to stop that in the background.
We've got that button.
Don't worry, this radio station has that button, and it's a huge, big red round button because it happens quite frequently. Apart from that, how are you feeling, Kev?
Mate, I haven't got words to describe it, which is bizarre. It's my job to describe things for a living and make people laugh, but this is just so bizarre to be in this beautiful city that's covered in red and blue. I mean, I've got a very vivid imagination. I was an only child. I've got a very vivid imagination, but I also had a very practical imagination, so it only allowed me to fantasize about things that could definitely happen, and this wasn't one of them. This was never on the list. So to be here is just odd. I mean, it just feels like a bonus. I mean, the FA Cup final, nothing will beat that. But this just feels like the most amazing bonus. I mean, I want to win this game with every inch of my being, because otherwise we've had a terrible season. But this is really the cherry on the icing of the cake. It's really strange. The only thing that worries me, Max and Charlie, I know this is a first world football problem, a tiny violin problem, is that, you know, on Sunday before the Arsenal game, all the young Palace fans are going, well, we'll win the Conference League, and then we'll get into the Europa League, then we'll get in the Champions League. I didn't sign up for that. I signed up for Shrewsbury away. I didn't sign up for another 3 years of travelling around Europe to places I can't afford to go. I'm out of my comfort zone here. I really don't. Give me 60 people on a coach to Wrexham. I know exactly where I am. I don't know what to do here. It's just ridiculous. I mean, it's so exciting. It's so exciting, and both sets of fans are mingling really well. I mean, my Spanish is non-existent, and most of the Spanish fans, South London is even worse. But we're managing to get on all right. But it's I think this is probably the best day in the life of all these Leipzig beer killer owners. I don't think they've had a day quite like this. It's fantastic.
Will you call it the Glasner treble, Kevin, or just because he's leaving, and will you erase his name from your history?
Is he leaving? Is he really leaving, Charlotte? I think there's still a scenario where he might stay, but no, we will never erase his name from that. There's always been a discussion amongst Palace fans, like who gets the statue at Selhurst Park. You know, is it Steve Coppell? Is it Alan Pardew? No. We don't want a statue of anyone dancing at Selhurst Park. Is it Roy? The only statue at Selhurst Park will be Oliver Glasner. I know that will come as a terrible news for Ian Wright, who thinks it should be him. But if we ever get a statue, it's Ollie Glasner. He's done remarkable things for this club. He understands our club. He's bought into all the community stuff, all the foundation stuff. He's improved us as a club, and he's won us the FA Cup, and he's taken us to Europe. So whoever he manages next, as long as it's not Brighton, we will be following that club with a great deal of attention, because he's just a class act. You know, I mean, he's like you two on talkSPORT. There are certain people on talkSPORT you go, not I'm sure, but then you go, Max and Charlie, they're class. You two are the Ollie and the Glasner of talkSPORT. I like to think.
How kind.
Which everyone, no, seriously, everyone's so excited because I've had to stay slightly more sober than most of my friends because of media duties. Although there was one slight embarrassment. I phoned you early today to check in, and they said it's nice to hear from you, but you're an hour early. I've forgotten the time difference. The toilets down there on the right. All my mates are so excited that I'm coming to do talkSPORT because they all love talkSPORT. So it's like, but much as I love you, I'm kind of looking forward to it. I think I've lost
Well, listen, Kevin.
Apart from the bloke asking me where the toilet is, I just heard something strange.
Because that moment when you won the FA Cup, this is the final question, Kev, then we'll let you get on it. Was an amazing, just seeing the mobile phone footage of people just in total disbelief. I suppose you're sort of are you match ready, or because it's a European final, does it feel sort of like a new dimension?
On a purely football term, there's a bloke trying to leap out the window here. It's a bit worrying. On a purely football term, the fact that we played in that final might help us with the experience of tonight. But I don't think anything will match the end of the FA Cup final, when there was a strange silence for 10 seconds when all the Palace fans of my generation, all I wanted to do at the end of the cup final was phone my dad. Basically, who I lost. I just wanted to phone my dad and say, "Dad, we won the FA Cup." And this feels different. This feels like this feels like a wonderful bonus. This is a wonderful cherry on the icing. I don't think anything will match that excitement. That will match that emotional intensity. And in a way, I do genuinely dread. The idea of being serial winners is something I'm not sure I would be able to cope with. But tonight, if we win tonight, it's going to be amazing. But I think if we lose, it wouldn't have the same dynamic pain as it would have done losing the FA Cup final, basically, or losing. I think losing a playoff would be much worse than losing. So and of course, I want us to win. I'm desperate for us to win. As our trophy cabinet until 3 years ago, we had the Kent Cup, and that was it. We beat Maidstone in the final. It was Palace, Gillingham, Maidstone, and Charlton, and that was it. And now we've got actual trophies. We're going to have to get a new one. I mean, there was a time when people who were allergic to silver could sleep in our trophy cabinet without any problems at all. And now we've got all this going on. It's just, it's so exciting. It's just so surreal.
Listen, Kev.
Have a great time,
Get yourself a beer. Have a great time. You've articulated it perfectly, as you always do. And good luck this evening. Kevin Day there, comedian and Crystal Palace fan. That's us done. Thank you, Charlie.
Thank you, Max. Loved it.
Had a nice time. Thank you, Tool Station. Drive is next.
Interestingly, we just want to get your sort of on this whole players, seeing what people say about them and seeing what people write about them. And just quickly, this is what Gabby Agbonlahor had to say on a player yesterday on talkSPORT Breakfast. We were talking about Spurs and their staying up on the last day. And he had this to say about Vicario.
These players should have been walking around the pitch on their hands and knees saying sorry to the fans. And Vicario, I'm watching the game. I'm listening to the commentary with Gary Neville. You're spot on. This goalkeeper has done nothing in a Spurs shirt. Been dreadful. And there's a clip of him offering out Seamus Coleman. Vicario, we've seen you punch, mate. You can't punch the ball. You're not going to be able to punch anybody. So we know you can't fight. So have some respect for a Premier League legend in Seamus Coleman. But that summed up Vicario yesterday. All over the sideline, trying to be a coach and jumping on the manager's back when... they scored the first goal, Paulinho. I think he's an embarrassment to that football club. I'll get rid of him.